Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for a match of the URC. Yet again, another South African derby. This one, the Bulls taking on the Lions. It just seems like week in, week out at the moment that it's always South Africa versus South Africa. But of course, when those matches happen, we are always very happy with it. Looking through at the way that the table currently sits, the Lions, they are slowly losing their games in hand, sitting currently 9 matches played. This one will take them up to 10, which of course still gives them one more extra alongside the Sharks, but they currently find themselves on the 23 points, and a win here would boost them right up into that top 8. So that is the bare minimum that the Lions want at this point in time. In terms of what this game can do for the Bulls, they are sitting in third. They cannot move up to second. They can close that gap a little bit more with the Glasgow Warriors. And after a lackluster performance last week, of course, redemption is on this Bulls side's mind. Looking through at the starting lineup for this contest, it will be Gerhard Stennekamp at 1, Johan Rubela at 2, and Wilco Low starting in as the tight head prop. In the midfield, in the locking duo will be Kobus Visa alongside JF van Heeren, Marco van Staden, Reniard Ludwig, and then also Gumedi there as the number 8, Ambros Papier alongside Willy LaRue. It's a combination that seems to be working for the Bulls, although last week there wasn't a lot that did go right at times up against the Sharks. It was two relatively inexperienced sides, and it just didn't really have that flowingness about it. So, of course, wanting to make a big difference here, and a couple changes across the back with David Kriel and Stedman Hans in the midfield. Kanan Moody out on one wing, Sebastian de Klerk out on the other, and then Devin Williams there at number 15. Looking through at the Lions starting lineup, and the last game for them was up against the Stormers. Now, the Lions have been thoroughly impressive throughout this URC, and for me, they're a little bit of a dark horse, a side that not many people are giving a huge amount of credit to, but can beat most sides on their given day. In the front row, it is going to be Schoolman, PJ Botha, and Nala Bakanye. In that number 3, Oosterhuizen and Landsberg for the locks, and then Kens, Ruan Venter, and Frankie Horn starting in as the number 8, Mone van den Berg alongside Lombard as the 19 combo, Marius Low and Henko van Wyk in the middle, and then Edward van der Merwe, Richard Kriel, and then Kjuan Horn, who had an absolutely phenomenal game in the last week's game up against the Stormers. He was absolutely everywhere, tearing them up. You want to do the same here up against the Bulls. Looking through at the previous fixtures for these two sides, as you can see, last week the Lions able to get themselves the victory over the Stormers, 30 points to 23, although the big talking point, I think, was that game above it, the Bulls versus Sharks, and a 10-point victory in favour of the Sharks side, who have had form every once in a while, but also still a little bit inconsistent, whereas the Bulls, honestly, I was watching that game as a neutral, and the Bulls, surely their supporters were frustrated with the way that they played. They just couldn't get anything going. The Sharks, to their credit, they played quite well at times, but still nothing phenomenal. Yet the Bulls they couldn't hang on to the ball. They were ill-disciplined. It'll be very interesting to see how they go now at home yet again, and how the crowd do react to the way that they play. Of course, the week prior to that, the Bulls did get themselves a close victory over the Stormers, a 1-point margin. And that's the type of performance that people want to see from them here. They had to dig deep. They managed to do it, though, and did get the victory. In the chat, we have got there, hi to all the South Africans watching and everyone else watching as well, says Matthew. And when is the South African Sevens playing again? That will be at around 9:10 p.m. South African time, somewhere around there, and it is up against the Australians. We are going to be covering that game on the channel. I just haven't scheduled the live stream as of yet, but it is happening within the next few hours that we will be scheduling it. And yeah, it's going to be an early match on day number 2 of the Vancouver Sevens. Happy Rugby Saturday, everyone. If the Lions win, are we looking at a shift in South Africa URC power? I mean, I've said it the whole way through. The Lions are the side that no one really looks at when it comes to the South African teams, but maybe they should. Kjuan Horn, if he plays like he did last week, they're just going to slowly keep on building up through the table. Marius Low, bit of power in the midfield. Idwell van der Merwe. Some people have forgotten what he's been able to do in recent times. Did you see the Fire E-Boat? The Brum's pretty good game. The Force beat the Brumbies, I assume that is. I did not know But, of course, we'll have to watch a replay at some stage. That was the little gap where I was trying to get a half-by nap. I think I got maybe an hour's sleep, which is about all we'll be able to get up until about 16 hours' time. We've got there, come on the Lions, says Matthew. And also, when will the Box play the Kiwis? So they have already played. They did play yesterday in the 7 side of things, but there is a chance that they could play further down the line. Of course, when that does take place, we will be here covering it as well. We have got in the chat, Let's Go the Bulls, show the Lions who is the best team in South Africa, says Super Dragon Dupré. And also, Lions will cause an upset today, says Justin. And another awesome clash ahead. It's hard to pick this one, says Matthew. That has been the case quite often throughout the weekend in terms of these head-to-head fixtures, whether it's the Drawer versus the Canes or it's going to be the Blues versus Highlanders. Not many people picking the right result for that one, but it's just rugby at its finest. Never know what's going to happen till it does, and then when it does, it's always very entertaining. When does the international box start, says Yako? So they're going to be playing in about July. Still very early. The Six Nations going on at the moment. That is the only international rugby in regards of about the top 10 that is being played, but it's still going to be a good maybe 5 months, or maybe a bit less, maybe 4.5 months till we get to see the Springboks in action. But of course, we will be covering their games on the channel as well. As the game in Pretoria, says Hanoi, it is a Loftus home game, I believe, for the Bulls in this contest. Now it's your turn, or time to be awake in the middle of the night. So glad our teams won those 7 games, Blitzbox and New Zealand, says Bruce. Yeah, I think we've pretty much got used to the middle of the night weekend situation in terms of our time zones, but currently about 8 minutes away from the start of this contest. We'll, of course, mention anyone who is new to the channel. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. You will be in here for these fixtures. We're going to be carrying right throughout the Six Nations. The next game that we are doing will be the matchup between Ireland and Wales, followed by England versus Scotland. So a couple big international games that will affect the world rankings. So be sure to keep a close eye on them as well. But in terms of score predictions, ladies and gentlemen, do let me know who you think will be going on to win this game. Do you see an upset on the card? I'm watching the game live, says Yako. And then Go the Bulls, says Yako in there too. Yeah, overall, I think this Lions side, even though they are away from home, we've got to remember that might play a little bit more of a factor than their game up against the Stormers last week. They should still be relatively competitive. During the old Super, we are more used to middle of the night games in South Africa, says Annoy. And hi, Hamish, looking forward to the game and excellent commentary, says Dorian. Thank you very much. As the Springboks first, says Mohadeen. At the moment, the way that it sits, they are right up there, seeing as they've had 2 wins from 2. But I think in terms of the overall first, I think probably Fiji are sitting the best at the moment. They've had 2 wins and both of them have been extremely comfortable. But the South Africans, I believe they are still at the top of the pool, seeing as New Zealand beat Australia, and that kind of helped balance things out. And we have got there, hi Hamish. And also, thank you, Hamish. I hope that the Lions win from South Africa, says Corinne. So, if we had to have score predictions, ladies and gentlemen, what is everyone's prediction for this game in terms of the exact score? Are you going a comfortable win for one of these sides, or do you think it will be a narrow victory, just like most of these games have been for South African sides? I think I'm more on the line of a narrow victory. Less than 7 would be ideal, just to get us all excited for rugby again as we head towards those Six Nations fixtures. If Wales can somehow keep it within 7 up against Ireland, they'll be doing something very well. But of course, new coach, new problems. See how they go. And Lions is going to do it today. Lions 33 to the Bulls 29, says Davy. So you're going with a high-scoring game. I like it. I like the mindset. In terms of first try scorers, we always mention about it before these matches. I feel like today, yes, there are the obvious options. There's the Sebastian de Klerks, the Kane and Moody's, etc. But I think we're going to see either a lock or a prop score the first try in this match. I think there's going to be a lot of use of the forwards early just to try and tire out each other. Definitely at Loftus. It seems to be a tactic used quite a bit. Lions don't cross the Juxki River too well. And we have got the Bulls 42, Lions 22, and the Bulls 32 to 20. From Sean and Yako, so both going relatively one-sided in favour of the Bulls. And just waiting to see the weather as well to see if that will play a factor on how high-scoring this contest could end up being. But, yeah, if we're basing off what we've seen last week, you'd definitely say that the Lions are the more likely to walk away. Well done to your team's win, says Albert. Well done to your team's win. Which team is that, Albert, out of curiosity? Like, is in like the New Zealand 7, I assume? Maybe, if that counts as my team. But, yeah, be interested to see this contest. I should mention that this is the only game of the URC that has taken place this round. Next week, there is a bye week, though, in the Six Nations, which does bring about, I think it's just the South African derbies in terms of what South Africa are up to. Yes, it is the 2nd of March. We see the Lions going head-to-head with the Sharks, and then the Bulls will play the Stormers pretty much straight after. In terms of a few of the other notable games to keep an eye on, Leinster versus Cardiff, Munster, Edinburgh. That will be the Saturday night or Saturday morning game for us here in New Zealand. And then Glasgow versus Ospreys. Bit of an interesting one there. But, yeah, I think that next week, probably more of a positioning round, if that makes sense. Some of these games could be pretty one-sided, just helping certain sides boost up. Talking about your Highlanders. Says Albert, well, the Highlanders aren't my team, they're my mum's, but she would have been pretty happy with the fact that they were able to get themselves the win, definitely with 13 players on the field. I don't think many people at that point, when they saw that red card and uncontested scrums coming out, thought that the Highlanders had any sort of decent chance, but they dug deep. They managed to shut down that rolling maul of the Blues and managed to get the win. The weather is perfect here in Pretoria. The field is still heavy after the tons of rain, says Albert. Or it could be the Bulls 40-26 and Ireland 42, Wales 9. Oh, so you're not even giving Wales a try in that case, Sean. But to be fair, from what we've seen of them, maybe that's not too harsh. But yeah, it looks like the field is relatively thick, I think is the best way of describing it. Looks like it has been dried out quite a bit in certain areas. And talking about your Highlanders, from Albert there as well, but we are probably only about 2 minutes away from these two sides making their way onto the field, ready to go for another round of the URC. And like I mentioned, this is still a round where they are playing catch-up. Currently, the Lions have played the 9 matches down in 12th, but if they do win this game, they will move all the way up to 8th. And then in terms of what this can do for the Bulls, it can't get them into 2nd, but it can certainly get them a lot closer. And this is the type of important game that when you're at home, you don't want to give it up. 29 degrees Celsius, it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, and it's going to be a very important one for the Bulls to get them back on the right track after a lackluster performance last week in their match up against the Sharks. We have got there, Bye says Yucko, so we'll see you later on and both get a bonus. You are not doing the Irish match, says Connor. We are. We have got it scheduled on the channel. Wales versus Ireland. That has taken place after this one. And then straight after that, England versus Scotland. We're covering all of them on the channel. I've mentioned about it many times that this weekend we're going to end up pretty much doing about 26 hours of commentary. We're already about a third of the way through, but there is still a lot of talking to be done, which means there is a lot of this to still be drunk, or else then we will not have a voice by the end of it. It's pronounced Yucks K. Just saying, says Bruce. I will try and keep that in mind, although I think that's the first time I've seen that word in a very long time, so it might be the last as well. Cloudy but very humid in Pretoria, so this will be like playing in Auckland. Will it? Are you talking Auckland, New Zealand? Because like it just came up before saying it was like 29 degrees or something like that, and you don't get weather like that in Auckland too often unless something drastic's happened. 5 wins, 4 losses for the Lions, they have just mentioned, as they make their way out of the tunnel. And they're starting to get a few of their fans making the trips for their games. There's a bit of a confidence about the supporters of the Lions. As I finally get the lid back on that. That was much harder than it needed to be. The big man, Frank Horn, 59th appearance for him. I'm excited for this Mornay Vandenberg Juan Horn combo. Last week they were tearing it up. Still 35 degrees in Melbourne and it's 11 p.m. Says Matthew, if you get a chance, please tell us 7's fixtures today, says Sean Gunther. So the first match that we have got is going to be Fiji versus Spain. Then from there it is New Zealand versus Ireland, South Africa versus Australia. And then after that, I think it's Great Britain, Kenya. Those are the morning games that we would consider covering. And then there's about a maybe 4 or 5 hour break from then. And then we're into the quarterfinals. So they'll be taking place in the middle of the night for you guys in South Africa, unfortunately. They'll be starting at around the same time as it is now for me, or maybe an hour in the future type thing for you guys in SA. But yeah, there'll be a couple must-see matches with South Africa already pretty much qualifying. Same with the Fijians. We're now ready to go. Gumedi out there on the field. And one of the main talking points we have had all throughout this URC season is the pure amount of injuries that we have seen. Sadly, players going down left, right, and centre. No, there's no honeycomb at the moment for the Bulls. Honestly, the list could go on. No Eldrick Lowe. In terms of the back line, they are missing 2 or 3. And the same can be said, well, kind of about this Lions side. But honestly, they're probably doing the best out of all of the sides in terms of injuries. And maybe that is because they avoided that Champions Cup, instead taking part in the Challenge Cup. But kicked off long by the Lions, and we are now underway. Edwell van der Merwe makes the early tackle. Morning/evening all, says Kerr. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. I'm sure you are excited for a match taking place in only about 4.5 hours' time. The Scottish in action up against the English. Now that one's going to be a nice clearing kick from Emirates Lions, although he shakes his head about it. I would take any kick going into touch early on, to be fair. It's a cool day in Pretoria, so a hot day in Auckland, says Albert. Yeah, it'd be a scorcher in Auckland if we got up to these type of temperatures. The divide between Joburg and Pretoria is known as the Borderers Curtain, says Robert. I'm just happy to finally be off a plane. That is true. And also I should mention, although I think we've slightly missed it, or depending on where you are in the world, I think it is still your birthday, so happy birthday, Kerr. I hope you do enjoy, of course, the rugby on the birthday day. Now that's going to be a nice attack and run from Stedman Gans. Gets to about 40 metres out, and the ball is loose, but the penalty does go the way of the Bulls. Just getting it slightly wrong there in the breakdown. Willie LaRue not happy about it, getting thrown away. Skydiving was looking like a good option after over 24 hours on a plane. Yeah, I hope you at least had a comfy-ish seat. 24 hours, or at least walked up and down the aisle every once in a while. Some people do that on a long flight, don't they? And yes, still the birthday, thanks. Says Kerr. Yeah, hopefully it has been going well. I'll tell you what, the DJ at the ground's just well and truly blasted some music. By the sounds of it, we'll turn that down a bit. But they are just showing here. Willie LaRue, of course, going to be one of the keys for them. Instead, when Gans managing to get through that tackle attempt of Marius Lowe. Now line out throw here for the Bulls, just inside of the Lions 22. And does throw it in. Nicely claimed by Cobus Visa. Not the straightest, but wasn't contested. Kerr, at first you don't succeed. Skydiving is not for you. It's probably quite good advice, really. Now, Van Heerden. Sitting not too far out from the line. Is JF Van Heerden any relation to Ruben Van Heerden? Out of curiosity, ladies and gents, are they like brothers or cousins or something? How does the crowd look? It looked pretty decent from the shots that I saw. Of course, there are still some empty seats, but that's honestly the case with most games now. With the large stadiums that these contests are played in. Emirates Lions, little pop pass up to Cobus Visa. Now, Gumedi tries to pick and go, slightly crawling towards the try line, but this is a very good position on the field for the Bulls. Cobus Visa quite slow getting back up to his feet, but still tries to get that clean out. Mako van Staden leaves the ball for Emirates Lions. Step from Moody, goes back inwards, and I think he's still scored it. What a finish that is from Kanan Moody. Didn't look like he was going to have a clear run at the try line, but somehow created one. And now the Bulls, early in this fixture, get themselves on the try sheet first. His 26th try. Now I regret my choice of saying, hey, maybe it's going to be a proper lock this week, rather than someone, literally we named him. We said rather than a Kanan Moody or one of those fellas, Edwell van der Merwe, I'm going to nip out for food and have a shower, then be back. Says Kerr, no worries at all. We are going to be here for another 7 hours or so. So, yeah, we'll be popping in and out. Or hopefully you'll be popping in and out. Moody showing his bock. Says Albert and Van Heerden. That's the correct spelling. It's quite a common surname here in South Africa. Okay, so no relation to the other Van Heerden then. That kick has missed away to the side for Kriel. Now going to make the score 5-0 in favour of the Bulls. But a dream start. Exactly what you want early on at home. I think they were just saying in the background that they were checking for something. It's all going to be cleared. Morne Vandenberg trying to hold up Kane and Moody, but just wiggling his way through to be able to place that ball down. Now the Lions, they are used to being the first side to score in their matches, normally coming out at a frantic pace, nicely taken deep from Reniard Ludwig. Now the ball's 10 metres out from their line. Might be related though, not sure, says Bruce. Now ready to go for another box kick. Ooh, that was an awkward one for Emirates Papia. The way that he kind of kicked that, it looked like maybe his boot got stuck in the turf. And then he kind of twisted or something there. He didn't look that comfortable while taking that kick. Emirates Papia go the Lions, says DTG. And paper is pronounced Papier. He is French, says Sean there. Is he? I don't actually realise he was French. I thought he was from South Africa, but I could be completely wrong there. Morne Vandenberg going back across to the right-hand side here. Now Vandenberg, little scoop pass on to Lombard. Couldn't quite go through. High Hamish, hardest working man in rugby, says Davray. Either the hardest working or the most stupid in some regards. Like, I don't think many other people are putting their hand up to do 24 hours of talking, because maybe it's not the smartest thing to do, but nice short ball. It's going to be knocked on, though. And it's gone through the hands, taken back by Devin Williams, looking for a 50-22 ball. Steeply bounces, trying to run around Huan Horn, but now he's put in the fend. Moves up towards the halfway line. And now talking rubbish, says Jean. And we have got their Lions by one. Or more, please, says Thuds Ray. Nice run from Richard Creel. And now Frankie Horn. Close to the touchline, but still keeping the ball alive. He's French. Oh, well, no one's perfect, and Lions must win, says DTG. Now off to the left-hand side. Marius Lowe in behind, looking for this next pass off to Edwell Vandermerwe. Gets now Robela. That was a very risky offload, but it somehow worked out in favour of the Lions, who go for another one. Huan Horn, right down 10 metres out from the try line. And Marco van Staren, of all people, to pop up with that ball. Of course, he would be the one to do so. Villy LaRue kicking off that left boot. Not a lot of space to work with, and it is a pretty decent clearing kick, but it doesn't go out. So now Edwell Vandermerwe will once again be able to run this one towards the opposition line. Low tackle made by Wilco Lowe. Just the classic prop thing to do, isn't it? Tackle a guy and hold his leg with one hand. Like holding a branch of a tree. That's a loose ball, and Ross Papier jumps on it and gives it off to Kane and Moody, who is slipping and sliding all over the place out there. Gourmedi now off to Stedman Hans. That was close to forward. And Devin Williams. Now a very good kick. Bounce of the ball. It's beautiful, and it's a 50-22 for the Bulls. They look scrambled there inside of their own 22, looking a little bit unstructured, and then just a perfect kick from Devin Williams. I think that was what he meant to do. Of course, sometimes the bounce of a rugby ball can be a wonderful thing when you do kick it. And no, Bruce, Papier is Afrikaans. Papier is French. As Goosen playing, he is not in the starting lineup here for the Bulls. They are just showing that debatably forward pass, but he is also not off the bench. Instead, they've got Zach Berger, Keegan Johannes, and Sergil Peterson off the bench for this match. But now 22 or so metres out. In fact, a little bit closer than that, about 20 metres. It's going to be the chance for the line out. Now nicely taken. Off to the right-hand side. And Bruce Papier with the inside ball to Villy LaRue. Oh, beautiful run from the veteran. Carves his way through. Oh, he's hit pretty late there from Richard Creel. Does apologise to him, but yeah, Villy LaRue crashing and burning as he goes over for the try. The odds have two Van Herens to be locked since South Africa must be family for sure, says Albert. And we have got there, morning Kiwi lads, everyone says Spider-Meek, welcome in. It's just a brilliant run from Villy LaRue. Was that a little bit of obstruction by Marco van Staden there? We're just going to see this gap. He slightly blocks PJ Botha. Not enough, I don't think, to make him miss it, but he was in front. Something that we've seen penalised before, but in this case, it doesn't look like it will be the case. And it is now going to be a chance to line up the extra 2 points that Sean says, Bruce. And also rolling back the years, LaRue. Yeah, that was a fantastic run, just pretty much carving straight through David Creel. Missing the kick away to the side. So that's currently 0 from 2 off the kicking tee, but 10-0 in favour of the Bulls. Getting a good old early start here. Right, we're going to see it for LaRue. Yeah, see, PJ Borte, he did get a little bit caught out. I don't think he was getting him anyway. Then we're going to see, yeah, Richard Creel just pretty much pushes LaRue over after he scores it. And the ground next to this turf, next to the main pitch, there is no slide in there. And his head pretty much just, he pretty much, you know in the cartoons, how they pull up and they bring all the turf with them? That was about what it looked like, minus the turf coming up for LaRue. But he got pretty much a stop instantly. Now, Q1 Horn kick this one off for the Lions, who have been far from perfect for the start of this match, although they have also had some pretty strong moments. It's just been that the Bulls, that 50-22 from inside of their own 22-metre line was certainly a special moment. Billy still has the speed at age 50, says Albert. Now Ambrose Papier kicking this one towards the sideline. That looked like Sebastian de Klerk took out one of the Lions players. I think it was Lowe. Now Nalabakanya going in behind to Lombard. Short ball to PJ Buota. I remember 3 Bok van Heerens, Mona, Vickers, and Fritz. Now out to Henko van Wyk. A huge amount of potential, that man. Now Landsberg tries to fend on Gumedi. He's actually dropped that ball as well. It's spotted by the referee. Good afternoon, mate, says Flesh, and welcome in, mate. Now, I want your opinion, Fleshin. Wales versus Ireland just around the corner. Nervous? Are you worried? Are you excited? What is the mindset heading into that game? Seeing as, it is literally, I guess you could say, a start of a new era, a different coach at the helm, still the same roughly Welsh side. But, is there any sort of pre-match nerves that are there? Or is it just, it's the same old Wales? And Lions will win today, says Julian Moses. And also the Bulls from Anna. A chance for another scrum to take place. That is due to the knock-on that we saw from the Lions. Good day, Aol Yaol, says Winmar. Now a chance for Ambrose Papier to feed this ball in. We'll see probably quite a few scrums early on. Possession at the moment is 61% in favour of the Bulls. Territory's actually in favour of the Lions with 51%. And now big push, and they have got themselves the penalty advantage there. The Bulls, Willie LaRue going across and behind to Devin Williams, and he will cut through this Lions defence as well, going for the chip and behind. Chasing hard here for Williams. Bounce of the ball. Oh, it sits up for Sebastian de Klerk, and it's the 3rd try now for the Bulls. I don't know what's going on, but that ball seems to be just sticking to them like they're a magnet at the moment, and it's made of metal. Just 3 tries of the first 12, 13 minutes of this match. Dream start for the Bulls, and it keeps on getting better. That's incredible rugby memory, 100% the good old days. Says Albert, 1:14 a.m. New Zealand time. It certainly is. I used to get nervous match day. Now I'm just resigned, says Fleshin. Okay, so the feeling is same team, different coach, but same result? Or do you think they'll somehow push the Irish? Do you think there's just that thin chance that we see something really special here? Where was this last week? When I put Bears on the Bulls, says Studs Race. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, this already is a completely different Bulls side, in my opinion, in terms of what they've been able to do throughout this first moment. Whether or not it's, like I said, the bounce of the ball helping them out a little bit, but like they're still doing so much more right. So it's as if maybe they've had that little bit of a kick up the backside to get them in the right direction. But Q1 Horn, was trying to catch up, but it was going to be tough. Definitely with the Bulls full sprint ahead. Devin Williams looked like he had a chance at it. We see some high fives as well from, I think those are the props actually, high-fiving each other for that one. The big men who know that the chip and chase isn't for them. 17-0, the Lions, you can't trust, says William Moses. Yeah, we gave them a big praise at the start of this contest, saying that they are such a dangerous side, yet we haven't really seen it as of yet. 3 defensive errors have led to 3 tries for the opposition. Now Emirates Papier going to kick this one downfield and does manage to find touch with it. Start that the commentators expected by the sounds of it. And Ivan van Rooyen, who will be quite nervous heading into the second bit of this first half. The thing is, we're still 14 minutes in. Like, there's still 66 minutes that the Lions have to find their rhythm. The win predictor at the moment has it 95% in favour of this Bulls side. Of course, that can be expected when you are leading by this much this early on in the fixture. Now, going to be another chance here for the Lions near the halfway. Morne Vandenberg going back to Kewan Horn. He's yet to really find his stride in this contest. Our wide Henko Van Wyk, South Africa teams, or South Africa fans, must be patient. Big club money increases in the URC from next year. We'll see a big boost in player depth, says Albert. And yeah, it's just been a tough run at the moment in terms of the amount of injuries we have seen for these South African sides. Like, the Lions are probably the one that hasn't been affected the most. But you look at someone like the Sharks or the Bulls and the injury list that has been added up, and it is massive at the moment. And if they make intelligent signings, says Wenma, and Morning says Yvonne, welcome in. If you are keeping well, chance here for Lombard to be able to kick this ball towards the touchline. Does get it out, maybe around 22 metres out from the try line. I think that if the Lions want any chance of somehow coming back in this fixture, which it is going to be tough, don't get me wrong, but if they want a chance, they have to score very soon. I would say before 20 minutes. If the next try is scored by the Bulls, that would already be their bonus point, and we are only less than a quarter of the way through the fixture. Lions had a bad injury run into the last year, that is true. Yeah, they've done relatively well to avoid it this year in terms of a lot of those guys have now come back, gearing up for Wales versus Ireland. Should be a great match. We are, of course, going to be covering it on the channel as well. Richard Creel tries to step, but he slips over, and that ball is loose, and the Bulls now have another counter-attacking chance. Sebastian de Klerk kicking it from inside of his 22, looking for a 50-22 of his own. The ball is not staying in field today. It is rolled out maybe about 25 metres from the Lions line. And maybe having a real 10 and playing Llewellyn and will help, but I'm not hopeful, although the under-20s beat Ireland last night, so that was enjoyable, says Bleston. And is it today, says The Vault? It certainly is, and also morning from The Vault. Hope you are keeping well. But yeah, the very next game that we are covering in an hour and 40-ish minute time, that is going to be the match between Wales and Ireland, and then the game following that, which is in about 3.5 hours' time, will be England versus Scotland. So a couple big games of the Six Nations happening today, and then following that will be the Sevens. So plenty of action. That's going to be a drop ball from the Lions, but it has gone backwards, says the referee, sending it to the sky. Sebastian de Klerk under it. Has taken it well. Emirates Papier going off to Johan Rubela. Romedi finds an offload from his backside while sitting down on the turf. Stephen Hans, that was a forward pass. So they will have to go back. Kana Moody, he did not hear the whistle initially. Wanted to charge down the wing. I saw the under-20 result. Their coach, Adok, needs to go, says Yvonne. And the Bulls says Anna. And we'll see South African players come back from Japan and France. Some might. If the money's right, we could see a couple possibly returning. At the same time, though, I do think that, you know, it's one of those scenarios that, like, there's still good money to be made overseas. And I know that, like, it's a lot better for the spectacle in terms of the South African sides if we do see those guys in South Africa, but it also is just quite tricky to lure them all back. You know, like, it would be awesome to see someone like a Jesse Creel or a Malcolm Marks playing in the URC. It would really show off the talent that South Africa have got. Chisel and Colby, Peter Steph de Toy. Imagine that man in the URC. Be pretty awesome. Bloody hell, it's that soon and I haven't had a beer yet. And what's wrong in the Stormers' house? Says Hurley. Unfortunately, they've found a little bit of inconsistency as well, but they too have a lot of injuries. So it's a bit of a rough one at the moment. Like, when you've got 15 players on the shelf, you know, not having Lebok, Valimza, all those type of guys, it is difficult. Yeah, likely a massacre, but I still want to support my boys in green. Hopefully Wales will put something together. And South Africa going to first again this year. I think that they'll have a pretty good shot of being number one at the end of the season. Like, I think at the end of the Six Nations, depending on some of the results, we can see another side move to number one. But, you know, as the matches progress, we'll see South Africa slowly cement themselves back up there. Now it's going to be another scrum feed. I just heard the referee say she's going to take the earpiece out, so hope she's got a backup one, or else she will not hear the TMO. Tackles made, 25 by the Lions. They have missed 8. 11 tackles made by the Bulls. They've missed 7, so actually only tackling at about a 65% for the start of this contest. I know the main games. Says Modine. Oh, nice work on the short side, just running out of space though. Lombard is taken out, and England 300 for 5 after 44, 360 on. Yeah, great start to the match for them by the sounds of it. The Aussies not getting their line and length right at all. So, know the main games. Is South Africa going to first again this year? Know the main games. I'm a little bit confused by what you mean. Like, as in, like, for the Rugby Championship, or are you talking the sevens this time, or what's the context there? Rassi said he wants an extra Bok test, maybe against World 15 or Fiji, says Albert. And now nice ball for the Lions. Not making the right decisions, though. Trying to go for an offload to a guy who is heavily marked and under all sorts of pressure. Now only a metre out from their line. And Bruce Papia, Waikato past to Kane and Moody. Will stick it on the right boot and keep it in the field of play. Now, back across to the left-hand side. The Lions, looks like Kuan Horn will put it high. And people have to retreat, and Bruce Papier from inside of the 22. They've actually called it as inside, although he did get the pass back initially. Edward van der Merwe going for the chip and chase. He's got a lot of pace. This ball sits up for him this time, stepping around. And great work from him, Bruce Papier, to make that last-ditch tackle. Penalty goes against Stedman Gans. Now Ginko van Wyk, he wasn't back 10. That could have been a yellow card, and in fact, I think it still is going to be, but the Lions have got the try. The July game, says Mohudeen. It depends a little bit. They are playing a couple slightly lower ranked sides, I believe, for the South Africans, so that might mean that it takes a bit longer to get back up in those overall rankings. But, yeah, it also depends heavily on what happens in other contests. The World Rugby rankings nowadays almost becomes who loses games is like the team that will go down, and then who wins them or can avoid losing will just consistently stay about there or be promoted from that rather than the points themselves, if that makes sense. But Henko van Wyk, Stedman Gans, yeah, he was only back about 3 metres, so he's probably going to have a think about that for the next 10 minutes while he is in the naughty chair. Currently a quarter of the match is gone. The Lions are back into it. And the Black Cats looking good, says Sean. First kick of the day, and it has gone over from Lombard. It's going to make the score 7 points to 17. We mentioned if there was going to be any chance, they would have to score next for the Lions, and that is what they've been able to do. Hamish the H is the throaty G, says Wenmar. The H is the throaty G. Where are we? So for Mohudeen, is it? Stedman Hans off the field for the next 9 minutes. And get in there, Lions and Hamish. What or how long constitutes a view on YouTube? Like if I watch 1 minute on your channel, does that count as a watch? I think so. Like there's an average view duration statistic, and depending on what that is, depends on how much YouTube do kind of push your videos as well. I think, honestly, I am still very, like, it sounds weird to say, but I'm very unfamiliar with how it all works. Like, we just pretty much go live for the rugby each weekend, and then that was quickly taken. That was almost a mistake from the Bulls out wide. It sounds like it is going to be play on. Kick attempt from Willie LaRue, but it stays in the field of play. Now Lombard flicks it out the back door to Richard Creel, who go for a kick of his own. Willie LaRue has time inside of his own 22. And once again, opting to not go towards the touchline. Bulls are misbehaving. Yellow cards, Lions. Great try, says Matthew. Kicked high again. Juan Horn chasing after it, and Bruce Papier almost ended up running into his teammate. Once again, kicking downfield. Slowly, Lions are getting a bit of this territory battle by the looks of it. Richard Creel tries to step. Oh, Bruce Papier for a second looked like he was flattened out, but he has got back up now, kicking behind from Mornay. Vandenberg, that's too much on it, and they'll go right back to where it was kicked from. Wales under-20 looked good last night, but the England under-20s looked a bit special against Scotland, almost frightening. Sears Fleshing at halftime lines 19 points to 17, but with a kick like that, looks like the coach is not too happy with it. But they will be back to 15 at around 30 minutes here, the Bulls, so they still have 7 minutes of time where they can either look to just take time out of the game, or they can look to be aggressive, try and score some extra points. As long as they don't end up like the Highlanders in terms of numbers on the field, they will be fine. 13 out there. By chance, I'm wearing the exact same shirt. Says a Super Dad Chris. Great minds think alike, as they say. I did have a different shirt on earlier on, but then decided to switch it up just because or else then you guys would get sick of the exact same attire. But this is probably the shirt that's going to be on for the next about 12 streams that we're doing on the channel. Of course, that's including 7, so that sounds like it is a lot more than it is, but it is still probably about 11 hours or 9, 10 hours, I would say. And now it's going to be collapsing in the front rows. So we do go back for another scrum reset. Scotland to whip the English fellas, says Johnny. I like the confidence. It's going to be a tough day at the office, though, of course. Like the Kolkata Cup, when it's on the line, hopefully that is the right cup anyway. It often brings out the best in Scotland anyway. I remember from last year, Lions played best with 12 players on the field. Says Albert. You're going to have to get a few people sin bin then. They're currently playing with the 15. 3 yellow cards needed. And Bulls will not last long. Says Julian Moses there too. Turnover conceded so far. The Lions have had 6. So that has definitely been hurting them. And with half the Scots team being South Africans, they can sure can whip them Poms, says Wenmar. Now, Ambrose Papier puts the scrum feed in again. We've just seen the one advantage in favour of the Bulls at this point. Calcutta, mate, yeah. Hopefully the 5th time on the bounce. Yeah, it's just a massively, like, in terms of the way that Scotland play for that competition, like, they just find a way to win. And, you know, there's been close ones. There's been a couple that have been a bit more heavily in favour of the Scottish. But, oh, Villy LaRue trying to say it was kicked out on the full. Referee shuts that down pretty quickly. I think Sean says, Johnny. Yeah, we are going to be covering that one on the channel as well. Right, sounds like they just cleared that kick of Morne Vandenberg, and it was okay. But it's going to be the line out now for the Bulls. They've got kicks in play, 11 from the Bulls, 4 from the Lions. I don't think that stat's correct, though. I can think of probably about 5 or 6 that we've seen from this Lions side already, including that Morne Vandenberg one that went wrong. So maybe it has to be a successful kick for it to count, or it has to go, you know, into someone's hands or something like that. Now, Ambrose Papier going for the box kick just outside of the 22, beautifully weighted. It's gone backwards for the Lions. Morne Vandenberg running this one sideways, gets it off to Juan Horn, and they've got a bit of space to work with now. Henko van Vick out on the wing, tries to back his pace and goes straight through Kane and Moody. Just continuing to make those meters after contact. Vandenberg, all they need is a backline movement, and this could be another try here for the Lions. Here comes Landsberg, the big man in motion, looking for the offload, couldn't get it in the end. Villy LaRue, he wasn't back on side, so this could be quite bad for him as well. But PJ, what the... Oh, he's blown it, as you know, he still scored it. Thought for a second he got a bit greedy and went at the wrong time. But he still goes over. The Lions, they have answered back with 2 of their own. Villy LaRue, says a tinny there, and yes, says Julian Moses. A great bit of work there from the Lions. PJ Buota, he had numbers outside him, decided to go himself, and So that was the dummy. Great defence from Gerhard Stennekamp initially to stop him from scoring, but then momentum did just carry him over in the end. Juan Horney was putting the finger up. He was happy with the grounding. And in the time that the Bulls have been down to 14 men, the Lions have scored twice. So, that started to become quite a... Well, I guess one of them was scored from that yellow card, so we can't really count that one. But you can say at least the one try during that period. The Lions have got themselves the 2 tries. They need 2 more to get the bonus point. And Lombard has got it over again. What a try, Juan Horn just on fire, says Studs raised. But yeah, it's the attacking mindset as well from the Lions. The fact that they were deep inside of their own area and they said, we can score from here. Kicking it down the wing, or at least running it down the wing, I should say, for Henko van Wyk. But yeah, they're showing Stedman Gans. He had his hand over his head. He's not happy. And he knows that when he goes back out there, he has to have a blinder because his side have gone from having a 17-0 lead to now sitting with a 3-point difference. Kanamudi is ever improving, centre or wing. Honestly, I think he'd work for either. Like, the thing with the Springbok side is it's so hard to get a spot in that centre pairing with Jesse Creel playing as many minutes as he has. But at the same time, when you think about it, how do you get out on the wing when you've got someone like a Makazole Mapimpi or a Kutli Arinsa, Chislin Colby, all those guys in the running? Will Rassie consider Horn? Seems to deliver each game. I think he's tried him in the past and has given him only a very short amount of time. Maybe with the injury of Valimza, although saying that, I think Valimza will be back by the time we get there. Sasha Feinberg Ngome Zulu, if he is out, they will need someone other than Vili LaRue. So, we might see him. Upper Lelifasi, though, of course, now is well and truly up there for contention. I don't think there'll be much chance that he is taken out if he is match fit, just because of what he's been able to do throughout 2024. It's a good problem to have, unless you're Juan Horn, who might really struggle to get minutes under his belt. Will Pollard playing this year? I believe Andre Pollard will be there for the season, unless, of course, any sort of injury does arise for that man. 28 and a half minutes in, and it looks like we are going to have another line-out throw, this time for the Bulls. And South Africa has so much talent. Rassie has options. Exactly right. You look through at the list of the guys that he's brought in for that pre-training camp, and, 90% of those guys would do well and truly, extremely well for the South Africans if they were given the chance. Henko van Wyk now, that's rolled out the back. Nalabakanye has to play halfback. Now Lombard looking for the 50-22, but that ball's not going to go towards the sideline. Instead, will go into the in-goal area, and Devon Williams forces it down for the goal line dropout. Does Kjuan have Welsh parents? I'm not too sure where his parents are from. And the Lions get better. Says William Moses there too. Sounds like time is off here again. Just a bit of a stoppage, but Stedman Gans, he is about a minute away from making his way back onto the field. Won't be the most popular man in the world. And this looks like a knee injury here for Henko van Wyk. He did look a little bit ginger the way that he went into that last contact. That's the last thing that the Lions want. I mean, his X factor was one of the reasons they were able to score that last try. So to lose him now would just be a bit too much of a hit, and honestly, it could be a game changer, but he's already got so much heavy strapping on that right leg. Mako van Staden looks like he's getting his cheekbone iced. So I would say that he's taken a bit of contact and a breakdown. Kjuan is a Klingon name though, and I hate to be that guy, but please like the video. Hamish is the champ, says Super Dad Chris. Yeah, anyone who isn't already, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. You all being here. We are here all throughout the night or the afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. We have got the 2 games of the Six Nations coming up. Then from there, we are covering the sevens for the round or the 3rd group stage fixtures, and then the quarterfinals. We won't be going to sleep for another 15 hours or so, and with the exception of a 1-hour nap, I've been up already for a long time. I can't even do the maths off the top of my head. I think it's like 18 hours or something like that, maybe 16, something like that. And JP Fori says Anamat there. Right, they said there was no foul play for that injury of Mako van Staden. It looks like he will be all right to continue, though. And now, David Creel, he will be able to kick this one from inside of his own 22. Is Henko van Wyk going to continue? He's looking A little bit sore, but by the looks of it, he's going to stay out there. Now, nicely taken down the middle of the field. Here comes a big run from Ruan Fenta. We have seen him knock players out by running it back at them like that. Now, loose ball. Cleaned up by the Lions. Landsberg. I double liked on my phone and my PS4, says Matthew. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Now Labacania goes across to Lombard. Inside ball from Horn. Now Richard Creel can't quite get through the defensive effort of Gumedi. And that was just the case of looking where he wanted to run rather than hanging on to the ball. And that is Jared Kens. It does slip through his fingers. That first about 12 minutes did take its time to get through. But now, I mean, we're already up to 30 minutes gone in the half. Henko van Wyk is still struggling as well, ladies and gentlemen. Hamish is the man. You're welcome, bro. Says Matthew. Thank you very much. But yeah, he doesn't look like he's going to be all right to continue this match if he is limping as much as he is just at this current point of time. Now Stedman Hans, he is back out there on the field after his yellow card. He will certainly learn to get back on side. Would you recommend Rugby 25? Honest answer is no, not yet. Like, there are certain parts of the game that I think it looks like it's got a lot of potential. We started a career mode on there, so if you want to see the gameplay side of things, I'd recommend checking that out. But there's still a lot of things that need to be fixed in terms of updates. At the moment, the AI can only do one pass, and they go pretty much to the first receiver, that's it. It's hard to get possession at times, although we've managed to do all right throughout the matches we've played. But yeah, I'd say give it a month or so and then reassess, unless you desperately need it. But it is relatively expensive for what it is at the moment. Why cut our pass from Billy LaRue, and it's not going to be backwards. Forward pass there, and they will go back for another scrum. But yeah, like, if you love teams in terms of being able to see guys with their player faces scanned and everything along those lines, there's quite a few teams that have got that in the game, with more being added in the future. They've got all the licenses for teams. You can play as about 150 different clubs. So if that is something that you like, and it's got a career mode, which is still a little bit rusty, but it's getting there. Like, for the first time that I played it, I thought, oh no, this is going to be bad, but it's grown on me a little bit. I see a slight bit of potential as long as they get a couple things right. Handling errors, we've seen 4 so far from the Lions, 3 from the Bulls. Compared to Rugby 08, is it good? People still look at Rugby 08 as the best, like in terms of the way that it flows and whatnot. Like, in terms of graphics-wise, of course it is a lot better than Rugby 08, but graphics sometimes doesn't make a game. It's the gameplay that helps it. So yeah, it's still a little way off Rugby 08. But it can get there. And it can be, I believe, even better if they stick at it. Hans is Afrikaans for goose. More trivia. There you go. So Stedman Goose. He was a bit of a goose when he got sent to the bin. Now it looks like the Lions are actually going to slow this one down after getting themselves the free kick. Monet Vandenberg, it looks like they're just going to go with a quick tap and go, chucking it to Ruan Fenta, who hits it hard at the line. Just talking about PJ Borta, the try scorer here. Frankie Horn, or in fact, no, this time it is Kuan. Back across to the left-hand side. Bulls finding themselves defending probably a lot more than they expected to after the start to the match that they did have. You'll have to release some 5 phases in a row for the Lions. Monet Vandenberg, flat ball to Landsberg, and he has dropped the ball. Now, Papia, it's gone on the outside. Oh, Billy LaRue not happy at the moment, as if he didn't just throw a forward pass like less than a minute ago. Stake sneaking in, Jake White looking a little bit frustrated at the moment, but Landsberg, it was his one first of all. That's big contact on Marco van Staden. They should literally just take Rugby 08 and update the graphics. It would still be better than whatever Rugby 25 is, says Kinrim. The problem with that, though, is they don't have the license to be able to do so. Like EA, and I can't remember who else it was, the game developer back in the day, they wouldn't allow that, if that makes sense. Like, they would say that it's not allowed. But yeah, they've tried to base it off a rugby like kind of rugby league. That's what Big Ant have been known for more in the past. So that's their slight problem. They're trying to make a rugby union out of rugby league game. But, like the player faces and whatnot, I think they look pretty awesome compared to what we've seen for past games. I've got a couple of screenshots here from last live stream that we show. Like, you guys will know exactly who that is. And yes, it's probably not the best photo of him per se, but like that's much better than past graphics, that we've seen. Bowden Barrett giving it that old side eye. Like all the kits, they're all licensed. And Ashma Darling, the Lions sleep tonight, says, Spider Mech, are you growing a mustache looking boss? Not on purpose. It's just I had a shave recently, and it's about the only thing that grows good. Is the rugby union game any good? It has potential, but at the moment I wouldn't pay full price for it. I think it's the best way of describing it. But with a couple more updates, it could get there. Now, that one's going to go into Dutch for the Bulls. David Creel, happy enough with that. I have no idea what's happened to Anna Mart, but she has really hit her keyboard hard. We've got a random Freddie in real life that. In the middle, she's kind of doing a bit of rapping as well in the middle. Lovely. And now, line out throw here for the Lions. Where's all the Bull supporters? Says M Holdings. There's quite a few at the game, to be fair, for this matchup. Another South African derby. Of course, normally turns up the attendance numbers. PJ Borta on the halfway line. Now, another high kick coming from Lombard. Chasing after this is Edwell van der Merwe. Pulls out of it because he knew wasn't going to be able to win that aerial battle. Marius Lowe trying to go through the middle and get that steal, but the referee tells him get out of it. Good afternoon, Hamish, and everyone, says Ruth. Welcome in. You are doing extremely well. Now, Emirates Papia again will roll this one back. Darian Landsberg was offside. He wanted to go for that charge down, but pretty much got sent out of it by the ref. Great take from Edwell van der Merwe. A high shot on him by Renier Ludwig. Ref says there's no foul play. Edwell van der Merwe gets straight back up to his feet as he knows he will be needed in support here. A little bit high from the Bulls in that challenge too. Richard Creel sitting 25 metres out. If they can somehow go into halftime with a lead here, be incredibly impressive. That one's going to be knocked backwards by Marius Lowe, or just headbutted his teammate in the gonads, and it's going to count as obstruction. Unfortunately, Oosterhuizen not only was slightly penalised in that case, or a free kick against him, but he also got a headbutt to the nuts for the process. A big man always going to find it very hard to move in that quick of a motion. Referee just trying to keep this game shuffling along too by the sounds of it. Time is off. 3 minutes 15 left. And what has been a close game compared to what it looked like. If anyone had been watching for the first, let's say, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 17-0 for the Bulls, they would have gone, okay, one-sided affair. And then now coming back here, they will all of a sudden see that maybe not so close. Lions doing well just to slowly build back into this game. Easily could have gone away from them. Good morning from Bogota in Colombia. Surely you have to deal with bots, and few of them. We're not too bad bot-wise. Like, I get a lot of hate comments. That's probably the one that we have to deal with more than anything. But like bots-wise, we don't really get too many bots. We did have a patch way earlier on that we had a lot, but now most of them have kind of disappeared. And Huan Horn slips into touch. And now the Bulls taking it quickly. Stedman Hahn's well spotted by Mornay Vandenberg. Been told to get out of it, but a really schoolboy error there from the Bulls, from the Lions. Well regained. And it's a knock on from Emirates Papia. Went from making a lot of meters to then, unfortunately, giving it up. No one hates Hamish. You would be surprised at the comments that we get. But there's quite a few. And Awesome Roof, have you eaten your cheesecake yet? I ate mine. It was a strawberry flavour. That sounds absolutely beautiful, Matthew. I bought a chicken and mushroom pie lunch. And yes, thanks. It was for breakfast, the lemon. Now, they are just showing, as it currently sits for the South African sides, the Sharks and the Stormers are actually at the top of the bunch for head-to-heads up against South African teams. The Bulls are in third with a game in hand. And then the Lions, they are sitting in fourth. All that for nothing. A shout out from Westville. Says a super dad, Chris. Now 2 minutes remaining in the half. Just listening to what the ref was saying to one of the players, I think they were just getting told why it's a fair contest. There is a drinks break at the moment taking place while Morne van den Berg does get a little bit of strapping around his head. Looks like maybe a cut was on the eyebrow. Speaking of cuts on the eyebrow, is there any UFC on today? We'll have to have a look at that at halftime. I know that there was boxing that is going to be taking place. Joseph Parker in action. Of course, one of the last big talking points for South African MMA was Dricus du Plessis managing to retain his title up against Sean Strickland. Now that sets up for Hamza Chimaev. I hope that takes place in South Africa, but I think it's going to be happening in the Middle East more than likely. What is up with the Bulls? 5 minutes of brilliance, 5 minutes can't catch a cold, says Studs Razier. Unfortunately, that can just be one of the problems with some inconsistencies. You know, one moment you look like you're not going to be beaten, like the first 15 minutes, and then next time you go out there, or even in the same half, everything goes wrong. Like, they've dropped the ball much more than they would have liked to throughout this half. And JP Furi and Spiders, the Lions come on and having a relax, unpacking my packets. And the Bulls still missing Cameron and Eldrick. Yeah, those are two players that they certainly would love to have back. Tell me JC Pretorius is in the back line. JC Pretorius is not even in the starting lineup or the reserves for this matchup. Completely missing. I think is that injury based for JC? It might actually be. Now, inside of his own 22, so Williams will now sink the slipper into it and gets the ball into touch. And the Lions boom, says Ruth. And no one hates you, mate. If they make hateful comments, it's usually done because they have issues. Nothing can be done with dumb ignorance. You're a sound fella, in my opinion, says Kuno Wick. Yeah, I think the main majority of it is just frustration that we can't show footage. So, like, the sevens is normally the brutal one. You can go through and have, 100 comments a weekend of people saying how much they hate you. But you get used to it. You get thicker skin. Oh, that's a drop ball from Morne van den Berg, has knocked it on. Yeah, you learn a lot of new swear words from doing YouTube, I will say that. You learn all the different languages of how to get sworn at and whatnot. What's the news on Eldrick? Saw it live, looked horrible. Yeah, I'm not sure of the extent in terms of how long he's going to be out for, but yeah, unfortunately not looking too great for Eldrick Lowe. Whereas Marcel Kurtzia, I believe he is also injured. My friend's husband is a Lions supporter. Do you still play cricket? I do, but I haven't been able to play that often. Like today they played, but I didn't play because I had too many streams that we were going to be doing. So, like the last couple of weeks I've had to choose streaming over cricket, but next week I'm hoping to play again. Just because, I've been out of the side for a little while. And what's up, Hamish? Bill, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. Yeah, Henry Cejudo is headlining. Oh, it won't be, I assume, not a pay-per-view, though. Who's he fighting, Fleshin? Do let me know. Oh, in fact, who is it? I can't think of who it is off the top of my head, but I feel like I should know. Oh, sounds like the full-time siren. Oh, sorry, half-time siren. We still love you, Hamish. See you, Super Dad Chris. Yeah, it is greatly appreciated, you guys who do stick around on these streams, week in, week out. We always get to see those familiar faces. Villy LaRue tries the wide cut-out pass. That was close to forward as well. Now, Bruce Papier goes across to Johan Rubela, who's honestly had a really quiet game out there on the park. Now, Gumedi running hard at the line. Back across Villy LaRue. He loves that wide pass today. Hamish wearing a lovely sweater. See, there's the roof there. And it's a good turnover. They're going back for the original penalty in favour of the Bulls. They will keep the possession here now. Chance at the 3 if they want it, although it will be actually very far out. So more than likely 2 points, or sorry, not 2 points, 7 points could be on the cards if they kick this one towards the touchline, but that is for standing up in the scrum. That's what that penalty is for. Oh, told to speed along by the ref, but there are 2 Bulls on the field. Hi, Hamish. Finally able to join again. Says Aniki, welcome back. It's great to have you here. We've got plenty more rugby taking place today. Next week, we're doing the URC as well with Super Rugby. Be sure to stick around. Only 3 points Lions next try, says Ruth. And yeah, good clearance, or sorry, a good kick towards the touchline from Willy LaRue. Song Yadong. Oh yeah, no, I know the guy. He's beaten some decent fellows in the past, hasn't he? Is he the one who's got Uriah Faber as his coach? Or he did at one point, or is that another fella from China that I'm thinking of? Now, nicely claimed by Renier Ludwig. Now, Willy LaRue. Steersman Hans, a slip there, and it almost leads to the try for the Bulls. They are currently sitting only a couple metres out from the line. No advantage there. That's cynical, and that's going to be more than likely a yellow card here. Right, the ref has a bit to think about for this one. 15, Kuan Horn. He's going to be going to the bin. If it wasn't for Hamish, I'd be so behind in rugby, says Super Dad Chris. Yeah, we've covered a lot of rugby. Like, it's only once you sit back and look at all the streams that I realise we have done a lot of this on the channel, and you guys have been sticking around for years in some cases. You know, we've got channel members who are almost up to 4 years of a membership, which is absolutely crazy. But like, yeah, without you guys in the chat, these live streams would just be me talking. So there's definitely like a reason we've done so many, and it is down to you guys being here. Now, Hrobala, a few metres out from the line. Pick and go from Kobus Visa. But now playing against 14 men. Oh, Gourmeti was so close to being able to score it. Moody, not the biggest man, so I'm not sure why he is attempting to go with those pick and goes around the breakdown. Now again, they will just be half an inch out over the top. Oh, I think Gourmeti's held up here. I think that he's gone for the big dive over the middle. Oh, bit of push and shove here. When Vandenberg has to pull away Gerhard Steneghamp. A little bit of a mismatch size-wise. And a bit of push and shove. I think that's frustration from the Bulls now. They should have scored that, and they have not managed to do so. It's like a bit of a conversation taking place between the two sides. Right, they're going to have a look at this one. The Lions sleep tonight, says Spider-Mech. Okay, referee's pretty much said she understands the intensity, but it's been a really solid 40 minutes. I'll be lost without watching your streams for rugby. Too much AFL on TV in Melbourne, says Matthew. Right, they are just checking for the clear grounding by the sounds of it. On-field decision is no try, because she thinks it might be held up. That's a big moment in this game. If they've butchered this chance to score, your Faber is his head coach, says Fleshin. Uriah Faber, he's signed in that new, or did he get signed, or was he just an option in that new, is it the GFL? I think it was. Quite a few of those older guys in there. Same with Tyron Woodley. Same with, I mean, the list could go on. Paige Van Zandt, I think, is in it as well. Sage Northcutt. You see him from a different angle. I think that the foot is under, and that's down. That looked like, but the grounding, I don't know if it's clear. It looks like it should be down anyway, but I believe it's touched the grass. Oh no, they've said held up, and that is going to be now half time. You won, New Zealander. There's a good / not bad accent, says Super Dad. And Jake White, Should have taken his William pills. That's a try, says Studs Race. Yeah, it did look like there was downward pressure. Unfortunately, from that angle, though, we just couldn't see the ball actually hitting the ground. If that makes sense. Like, I think common sense in that case is it's missed the foot and it looked like he pushed it, but it is going to be no try, seeing as that is what the on-field was. And we have good there, no worries, Hamish. You're doing a sterling job. There are many of us that appreciate your reporting. Those that use foul language, maybe they just want attention, says JT. It could be the case. Or most of the cases, it's just because there's frustration of them not being able to see the game, which I can understand to a certain extent. But yeah, we learn so many new words from these live streams. Some good, some bad. And I'm half cast, says Spider Mick. But yes, second half, just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. That half running a little bit longer than I think it was first anticipated. Next half probably going to be starting in around 10, 11, 12 minutes time. Somewhere around there. So what we will do is we will drink some water so that the voice does stick around. Of course, after this one, we have got 2 games of the Six Nations that we will be covering. I just checked. I don't know what is wrong with JC Pretorius. So you don't know what's wrong, but there is an injury, or just you don't know why they haven't decided to play him for this one. I've got there, no, don't like AFL. I don't understand it, says Matthew. To be fair, when you first watch an AFL game, it does look like everyone's just trying to bash each other. And then, you know, even after watching it for a long time, you can still feel like there are a couple rules that you don't necessarily know. But yeah, it's unique to Australia, of course. Hamish, what do you think of the pace of the URC versus Super Rugby? I'm noticing a big difference, says Studs Ray. Are you noticing a difference as in, like, which one would you say is slower? Because I think I know what one I would say, but, like, of course, different competitions leads to different styles of play too. Do you ever use some of those words in everyday life when you get ticked off, says Aniki? Not the ones from different languages, although it would be a good way of, like, doing it, I guess. He is on the GFL roster, but so is every retired fighter. Going to be fighting Renan Barrow, hopefully I've said that correctly. That's in March, isn't it, Fleshin, that's going to be starting up? Honestly, the draft I was kind of hyped for. Like, I didn't even know about it until maybe the day before the draft. And, you know, I was getting excited about it. Oh, no. They've left the microphone on, and the commentators are having a chat to the production crew, and the guy was like, how many tries were there? 5 tries? And then the other guy's, yeah, 5 tries. And we're about to hear him probably say, so a first half with 5 tries. So Rugby Pacific is fast-paced like Brumbies, and the Blues cannot control the game like last season. How's Rugby Itch doing? He's doing very well. We'll probably end up doing some sort of videos with him in the relatively near future. Too much whistle blowing in the game. Bunch of crybabies, says Matthew. He attended the same school that Quagga went to. And maybe he's trying to be like him by playing in the front, says Katzenel. And so now over Loftus, and it's hot and humid in the sun now. And also, it should only be rugby fans. Anyone else need to take their right to go away. And Lions to score first, says Julian. And there too. We're just waiting to hear him mention the 5 tries. Oh, he didn't mention the 5 tries. He mentioned everything else other than that, by the sounds of it. Halftime, 17 points to 14. We have seen none other than 5 tries throughout the half. Kane and Moody managing to score the first one. It wasn't an easy one to be able to finish either. Had to step his way through quite a bit of opposition defence. Then the second try we did see was Villy LaRue with just a great piercing run through the opposition. And then the try after that, they did have the penalty advantage at the time. And then just managing to use that back line. Devin Williams cut his way through and then went with the chip in behind, and it was cleaned up by Sebastian de Klerk to get that third Bulls try. If Henko is still there in the second half, Lions will win, says Albert. Yeah, although he does look far from 100% at the moment, which is not ideal for them. They're just showing the counter-attack from the Lions that led to their try. It was Van der Merwe with pure pace to be able to get there and put the pressure on. And then just a few metres to go for the Lions. And Stedman Khan's given away the cynical infringement. Henko van Wyk finished it anyway. I should have put in AFL, says Matthew. And we've got there, I'm going to run up road to feed my stray black cat. He's called Spider-Man. Yeah, it's weird, no press release, at least from what I see regarding his fitness, says Katzenel. Should I have a quick look and see if I can find anything about him at halftime? JC Pretorius injury. That's normally the best way of doing it. With JC Pretorius injured, first thing on Supersport that just popped up. With JC Pretorius injured. Okay, so he's injured, but they don't say the extent of the injury in this one anyway. It was fun to watch. It was a fun watch. I think the first tournament is end of April, early March. Says Fleshin. Yeah, like it's one of those ones I will end up watching anyway. Like I know some people are firmly against it and they're like, oh, I'm not watching anything but the UFC or any of those big ones. But like, it's an intriguing concept and something that hasn't really done or been done before. So I'll be sure to at least give it half a look. Speaking of half a look, we'll have a quick look. Yeah, so Cejudo versus Song Yadong, then Anthony Hernandez versus Brendan Allen as the other one on the main card. Lonzo Manafield's on the card. It's looking like a decent one. Kutalaba, I remember when that man used to be extremely scary. He probably still is, to be fair, but I remember when he was knocking out people for fun. And I have too much garbage on my phone, waste too much power, says Spider-Mick. Why can't we see the game? It is due to licensing. Pretty much any match footage or audio that we would show would get us taken straight off YouTube and end up with a copyright strike. But we do the play-by-play commentary, currently half-time in this fixture. 304 metres made by the Lions in that first 40 minutes compared to the 194 of the Bulls, which is quite surprising seeing as we saw a lot of attack early on. Please say hi to my son Reed. He is obsessed with your channel, so shout out to you, Reed. It's great to have you and your dad here. Second 40 is probably still another few minutes away. And of course, we've got two matches of the Six Nations coming around the corner. Are there any international players on either side? It's quite a few, to be fair. Willie Leroux is there for the Bulls. In terms of also in that starting lineup, they've got Kanan Moody. They've got Marco van Staden, Johan Rubela, Wilco Loger, Hard Stennekamp. All men who have had a chance for the Springboks this year for the Lions. They are a little bit lighter in terms of their guys. Edwald van der Merwe, Morne van den Berg. And a bit of Kuan Horn as well. He's had a very brief stint in that Springboks environment. And bro, you are the best YouTuber. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. It's a good concept and gives the old boys some extra cash. Yeah, exactly right. Like, it's a chance for those veterans of the game back when they were fighting. Like, some of them, let's be honest, they got ripped off. So it's nice that they're now going to get a little bit of a cash, kind of a payday type thing. And it's, like I said, it's just unique. The idea of having a competition where you are also a part of a team, because they're all in their individual camps anyway, you know, Team Alpha Male and everything. They're now getting a chance to a certain extent of being able to work together. Do you live in South Africa? I do not know. I am from New Zealand, so it is currently 2:05 a.m. New Zealand time. The next stream we will be starting is in, I believe, exactly an hour. If I am correct, I think we've got 10 minutes built up between Wales and Ireland. I'll just have a quick look to make sure. Yes, that is correct. So, yeah, we're not going to get much of a break. I don't even think we'll get a snack in between those live streams, seeing as this one has run a little bit later than it normally would. Sounds like WWE from year 2000, says Albert. And Hamish is the best of the best, no comparison. Are you doing the cricket, or is that way too much? Probably way too much. Plus, it's a little bit too risky because anytime we try and cover a big tournament of cricket, we get a copyright strike. But I'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. You know, New Zealand managing to win their opening game up against Pakistan. Currently, England and Australia going head to head. But now second half, I would say, is only moments from starting up. Of course, after those 2 games of the Six Nations, we have also got plenty more taking place, as we are going to be covering the sevens. I kissed my cousin on the lips, Hammy. I was stoned out of my head. I made a terrible act, plus too much Jim Beam. Says Spider Mick. That's an interesting scenario to find yourself in, Spider Mick. Definitely if it's in front of the family. I won't take on the UFC, but I hope it does okay, says Blishin. Yeah, like it's probably going to be one of those ones that pops up and maybe, like, I hope it lasts a few years, but the chances are, you see it work for the first time and people will say it's flawed and then maybe they only get 1 season out of it. But, like if it's, I don't know whereabouts you'd watch it. I don't know what the licensing's like, but it might do all right. Older guys used to do unsanctioned fights underground or on a boat in the Andaman Sea. This new concept better can take care of the fighters, says Suds Ray. And it also, it tries to convince them to go for a finish, or sometimes it's more strategy to try and, draw out a contest. Do you think New Zealand is going to win the next Rugby World Cup? Honestly, I think they'll be top 4, but I have no idea who's going to win it. Just because, we're so far out from it, and nothing like rugby at 7:30 a.m. in the morning, says Jan. You think Wales will perform better this weekend? I hope they do. But then at the same time, they can't do too much better, or else then, everyone will just say it's Warren Gatlin's fault that they were doing poor. But, yeah, I think that if they can at least be competitive with Ireland, that is about all they can ask for. If they can somehow pull off an upset and win it, that'd be huge. There we go there. Okay, cool, bro. Now the Bulls are back out there on the field, just awaiting the Lions to come out of the changing sheds. Then we will be ready to go. And France Springboks World Cup final in Oz 2027. Ooh, nice early prediction. In fact, I should know this, but I have slightly forgotten, if I'm honest. When is the World Cup draw? I know that for the 2023 World Cup, they did it extremely early, and it got ridiculed for that, so they ended up saying we're going to do it a lot later. Is it next year that we see that World Cup draw? The only match we lost in the World Cup was versus Ireland. That is true. Okay, Lions, let's get into it, says Studs Ray. Nothing to do with the coach. The player's not good enough, says Spider Mick. Exactly right. But then if they somehow pull off a miracle win here, then everyone goes, okay, it must have been the coach. Even if it is not quite the case. Right, David Creel ready to kick this one off. Where are the Lions? Are they here? The Lions are in the changing shed still. Oh no, they're all back on the mark now. I think they were just waiting for one extra player. And Lions for Days says, Super Dad, I hope they weren't waiting for Q1 Horn, because he is not returning for the next about 7 minutes of this contest, and an early knock on from the Lions scrum feed for the Bulls within 10 seconds of the second half starting. And the next World Cup is in Australia. I hope the final is in Melbourne, says Katzenell. I don't know if they'd go Melbourne, to be honest. I think that they'd probably, Amy Park, it's all right. Well, it's even debatable if it's all right for the Super Round, but, you got to have somewhere big, like a MCG or a SCG, or maybe, you look at the Waratahs home ground, Suncorp Stadium, final will be in Sydney. So is that at the SCG, Albert, or is it at the Waratahs ground? I can't remember the name off the top of my head. How many does it hold? I wonder if it would hold the capacity that they'd want for it. Come on, the ball, says Quinton. And it's 2 years out, says Super Dad. I think in Sydney is where the finals are, says Matthew. Early 2026, or late 2025 for the World Rugby World Cup 2027 draw. Zonebush still 80k seater. And calling the park questionable was crazy. Says Gadsden now. And that is going to be another knock on. That's the chance for the Bulls that is now going to go a bigging. Yeah, Morne Vandenberg just gets a hand in there. That was your favourite rugby player? I've got a few, to be fair. We cover a lot of competitions around the world, so it's very hard to pick just one from each place. South African-wise, it's very easy to go with a couple of the greats, such as Peter Steph or Etzebeth, just in terms of the work rate of those two and what they've been able to do throughout the last few years. But, you know, there's a few of these young guys who look like they've got a great amount of potential. Someone like a Cameron Honeycomb. Can someone talk Afrikaans? It won't be me unless it's Yao Lekkerding. That's about all I've got. And Baya Donkey. Now Mone Vandenberg. Back to Lombard in the pocket. Does kick it into touch, but doesn't make a huge amount of meters from it. Still the yellow card for the Lions for a little bit longer. And appreciate your commentary in your wee New Zealand hours. Dunky says WMG. Well, thank you very much for being here. It is greatly appreciated. We're here for the 2 games of the Six Nations as well. And at this time tomorrow night, oh no, not quite, 2 hours from now, 24 hours from now, so 26 hours in total, we will be live for the Six Nations as well. So we've got plenty coming up. The Sevens going to be appearing on the channel throughout the next little while. And Bros Papier goes off to Stedman Hans. Trying to make his way through, and Bros Papier off to Gumeri. Now pick and go from Gerhard Steenkamp. The Lions, I think his hands were actually down first, so wouldn't have been the clean steal. Just saying how they're going to have to go all the way back for the Lions in terms of game plan-wise, finding a way down the park. I can't wait for the next World Cup. There's going to be some big upsets, says Matthew. Another tackle made by the Lions, having to roll away. The ball is available, says the ref, though, and it's going to become a scrum feed. That one was unplayable. Like I've said, the Bulls a little bit disappointed, I would say, at this point, not being able to get their way through. It was JP Ferry. I was wondering the same thing, to be honest. But they get a lot of loving from Anna. And I'll be right back. Now, bye, bro, says Mo Goldie. So we'll see you later on. And the bot says Super Dad. Is it though she like used some words before? Kind of. But like, yeah, she definitely broke her keyboard earlier on when she was typing. That can be guaranteed. And Brazil upset the Aussie Girls Sevens Vancouver Hemi. Yeah, I did see. They were able to get themselves the big victory. Just to go with those normal upsets that come from the Seven Circuit. Unfortunately for Australia, though, lately it has been them who is having a lot of problems. So Honeycomb, he has lost his boot, so he has to get this one back on. 15 appearances for the Bulls, and in that short stint has made quite the impact. Crowd having a bit of a dance. Maybe Anna's calling out for help using some code. To be fair, it's not the easiest code to read, other than the fact that it's JP Free. Other than that, though, very confusing. Crowd absolutely loving it. Yeah, looks like they've actually got quite a decent attendance for this match. This ref is super chill, doesn't seem to get fazed by anything. Will this take us to the next one? It certainly will. So the next contest will be Ireland versus Wales. And that one's going to be kicking off in around an hour's time. We will be starting in 50 minutes. We have got the I laugh when I saw the highlights for Brazil versus Australia Women's Sevens. Australia was way too cocky. That's actually become a bit of a trend. They expect to win every game, and then, unfortunately, when they lose, they don't handle it that well for that Aussie side. What did I miss? Pretty much nothing. Gumeri's trying to put his boot back on, but they can't find a replacement for him. He can't get it back on his foot. Lions, it's right time. Go now. And you're sitting on your phone. Now, still playing a little bit of... Is this song just called Yeah? I can't remember what it is. But they say Yeah a lot in it. Oh, we have got the afternoon chat. Says, Jimbo, welcome in, mate. I'm sure you are excited for the upcoming contests. They're around the corner. Gerhard Steenkamp, they are just showing at the moment in the URC Power Rankings. He is number 3. So for him to be there is extremely impressive, seeing as he is normally in that front row department. And it's pretty hard to get up there when you've got guys scoring tries flat out up against you. He's carrying his 87.8 in terms of those rankings. Having a bit of a chat there with Wilco Lowe. Right, they're still trying to put Honeycomb's mood on. I think they're just wrapping it up now. And a mile off this game getting back underway. I think it realised that I was going to have enough time for a snack in between streams, and it went, hang on, no, we're going to lose a boot. So that is not a possibility. Yeah, holy, says Spider Mech. They are just showing the highlights of the tries, and Bulls not good, says Stranger. His boots are too big, says Albert. Is that why he's got so much strapping on the outside? I thought they were trying their best to, hold his foot, without any chance of injury or something along those lines. Or he is too big for his boots, says Albert there. Right, time is turned back on now. As a neutral, hoping the Lions win. Better chance for a South African team being in the semis, says Bystander. That is true. The Bulls are currently sitting in third no matter what here, and they can go up a bit on the table, but not actually in terms of position, just points-wise. That LaRue try really was slick, man, still got it, says Studs Ray. Yeah, beautiful run from Willie LaRue to pierce his way through. Bulls suck, says Stranger. Bulls got no try from the last 30 minutes. Yeah, the Lions, they were able to answer back with 2 tries of their own. Just another mistake coming from the Bulls here, though. That seems to be the trend that is happening currently. Lions all the way from this Cheetahs fan, says Albert. Ready to throw this ball in. Nicely claimed by Jay van Heeren. Draws Papier across to Willie LaRue. And Marco van Staden. It's going to be another penalty advantage in the Bulls' favour. Willie LaRue with a short ball to Sebastian de Klerk, Devin Williams, Kanan Moody, and they score the try. Just as Stranger had mentioned, no try for 30 minutes. They go, how about 30 seconds later? And we get one. Lions to 8, says Julian. You need to have your snack next to you before you stream, bro, says Matthew. That is true. It's normally quite hard to, or at least we have tried before to eat and stream. Doesn't work. So, it has to be something very quick and snappy. I might have enough time for 5 minutes, maybe, in between streams. We'll get him back underway, but nice finish from Kanan Moody to score the try. Gets the appreciation from his teammates too. Like they've said, just made it look extremely simple there for the passing. And that gives them the bonus point too, so they will now be sitting on the 5 in total. And by the 5, of course, I did mean the 5 points from this game if they go on to win. The kick is good from Krill. We'll make it a 10-point difference. 24 points to 14, and hailing a muesli bar at 2:30 a.m. sounds dangerous. Extremely. But, yeah, I think it will be something else. I'll find, I got some chicken there, I think, so we might go with that, or maybe a piece of toast if I got time. Afternoon, Hamish, I'm late but here, and hopefully that was the last Bulls try. And the Bulls will not get any more tries in the remaining game, although it's not the end of the world if they don't, because they've already now got that bonus point in their favour. Bowl of bolognese and a fork will be easy for you midstream, says Jimbo. Yeah, you just got to find something that I can inhale. Like a banana would be all right. It will keep me going for the next 4 hours. I see taken by Stedman Khans, going back to Kobus Avisa, hit hard by Nalaba Khanye. Hamish kick Stranger off, says Nico B. Although he might be a bit negative, but he hasn't said anything too bad yet. Bulls suck. That's not awful compared to some of the things we have seen. So I assume I will ask, Stranger, are you a Bulls supporter or are you a Lions supporter in this case? Because if you're a Bulls supporter, who is your favourite Bulls player? I'm listening to you from Clarence, says Michael. Welcome back, mate. And now LaRue passes off to his teammate Devin Williams, who will be able to kick this one towards the touchline. And poor decision there by the ref. Halfback clearly balked. And Drew Lyons offside. And the Bulls suck, Hamish, says Stranger. So is the Bulls, are they your side though? Or is it that you are a fan of another team. Like, are you a Lions guy? Are you Sharks, Stormers? Now it's going to be the line out. Lions will come back, says Julian Moses. And they do still have time, and they, I believe, still have that yellow card. It won't be a mile off getting taken away, though. Johan Rubela throws it to the front, and it's stolen now by the Lions. Morne Vandenberg going back across to the right here. Chance for Kens to go into the hands of Lombard, looking for a long boot down the middle of the park. Cleaned up at the back by the Bulls. Oh, a little bit awkward bouncing for Sebastian de Klerk, who will decide to run it. Landsberg won't get to him. Little grubber from de Klerk towards the sideline, and it does drift out. Maybe intervene. Drip feed to replace food for you, Hamish, says Albert. I agree with Nico B. Mick him out. Mick him out. What does mick him out mean? And Albert sees Jimbo, but currently 10 points separating these two sides. Chance now on the halfway line for the Lions. Gumedi is still dealing with the boot problem. Haven't worked out whether or not it's that the boots are too big or too small as of yet, but either way, it's causing him a few problems. Fiji Buota throws it over the top, and the Lions, they will claim that one, or at least it was a knock-on from Villy LaRue, so they should have it available. Anyone know where to stream live for free? I do enjoy the show, though. If you have got a VPN, if you set yourself to New Zealand, you can actually watch it on TVNZ+. They do the South African games on there, but if you're looking for somewhere in South Africa for free, it's very tricky to find. And hi, Hamish and everyone. A bit late. Good game so far. It's been back and forth. The Bulls have looked more in control, but they've also made a lot of errors that could have led to them being behind. Now, Villy LaRue, tackled by Nala Bakanye, actually ends up falling the wrong way there. Papier going off to Gerhard Stennekamp. Now Papier again, waiting for this one to be rolled back so that he can go with a box kick. And no to thanks, says Clint. Chasing after this. Sebastian de Klerk wanted to go up for it. He's almost played Edward van der Merwe. It's going to be a double knock-on again here. Seems to be a bit of a trend for the second half. Both sides dropping the ball quite often. And we have got their live rugby on YouTube at 4. Says Outlaw, and Bulls all the way says M Holdings. And hey Lilia, says Jimbo. And there as well. But now Kuan Horney is back out there after his yellow card. But now, still 30 minutes left. The Bulls have got the bonus point for 4 or more tries. The Lions, they are 2 away. Is Eben injured or being rested? He is injured. It's actually, I think, a bit of backlash from a previous concussion that he had. And he's still kind of dealing with it, which, I mean, it's not really good news for him because it's the type of one that could even shift him a little bit more towards retirement. Now on the halfway line, another chance here for the Bulls. But they have to start being a bit more clinical in this half, I would say. They've had chances quite frequently, but haven't been able to finish them off. Ambros Papier go off to the left-hand side here for David Creel, who is ready at first receiver. It's going to be a hard one for Marius Lowe to roll away, and he has been pinged for it. No more tries for the Bulls, says Stranger. And I Jimbo says Lilia B, 45 metres out from the line. The Bulls now going off to the right. Villy LaRue back to Stedman Khans. Tackle again, and a good steal in the breakdown for Marius Lowe, so they'll go back for his initial one where he wasn't able to roll away in time. It's going to be a frustrating time at the moment for the Lions. They just keep on almost getting the ball, and then they give away a silly penalty. Even injured, could be retiring. Injury, says Clint. Yeah, it's not looking too good for him at the moment, unfortunately. And it would be a massive shame to not have Eben Etzebeth in that Springbok environment. Like, I feel like a coaching role at some point for him could be on the cards, or, you know, maybe in the commentary box, a little bit similar to what Victor Matfield has done. Both of those guys heavily capped for the Box, of course. Yeah, Marius Lowe, he made the tackle then, just couldn't quite, he's a bit unlucky there. He almost did do enough to roll away, I thought. I'm having wet Vicks for Brecky right now, says Spider Mech, and Emirates is back training with the Sharks this week, says Lilia B. But yeah, I would say that they'll be pretty cautious with him. Like, he won't want to take another head knock, or else that could be his career done. Now going off to the left-hand side, Mako van Staden to Nassem Carr. Only 3 metres out now. Sebastian de Klerk, pick and go. He will be short yet again. Carr, which way he's going to go? Off to the left. Now, little pop pass up from, I believe it would have been Cobus Visa. Eben should take 6 months off, or even to October, then hopefully back, says Suds Ray. Rassi is just giving Eben a good long rest. Concussion, just an excuse, says Albert. I mean, to be fair, though, if he has had a few concussions in a row, you don't really want to risk it. Like, whether it's, like you're saying, Rassi's tactics and whatnot as an excuse, but, you know, one more big head knock and he could be done for. So they will want to be a little bit cautious. You've got to remember that guy's been around for ages. So there is that wear and tear. The offside penalty going against the Lions again. Looks like they're going for the scrum yet again. They've got the number 3 in the power rankings overall, being Gerhard Stenikamp. Oh, Peter Steff. And no more tries for the Bulls, says Stranger. So how many more tries for the Lions then, seeing as you're doing the predictions? But still another 26 minutes remaining in this fixture. So this one will take us through to around about 55. Then we've got about a 10-minute break before we get into the Six Nations contest between the Wales side and Ireland. Going to be a big one. We are covering it, followed by England versus Scotland, so still plenty of games still going. Rassi can override the club decision on Eben, and Rassi said last year Eben needs a very long rest. So I'm just reading between the lines, says Albert. Yeah, although I think the latest head knock for Eben certainly would have put him more in that direction of a rest. And give me $1 fish and chips, Ruth. And 2 more tries for the Lions, says Quandile. So is that 2 more tries to give them the win here, Quandile? Hands up, bro, I'm back. Welcome back. Just another stoppage here. I think this is for, I think it was Mako van Staden. Looked like he had a little bit of a problem. Crowd attendance, 17,501 for this contest, so very popular. Looks like a great day for it as well. We call him Eskim, says Clint. We have got there, I'm glad to see Ludiacha is back for the box. Yeah, it is great to see the big man because it's been so long, hasn't it, since that man's had consistent minutes in an international kit. And honestly, like, it will be tough to get back in there. Yes, he's in the environment, but at the same time, like, you still don't want any sort of serious risk for him. And I feel like they'll have to be strategic about how they use him too, just to make sure he is up to the fitness. But now, solid scrum. Come on, Lions, you can do it, says Clive. Now it's going to be the penalty advantage in favour of the Bulls. Willie LaRue tries the wide cutout pass. That has been quite a regular occurrence throughout this game. And tell more about Lude, please, Albert. Good news. London Irish for the URC. Yeah, it sounds like they're going to be back out of the bankruptcy. A couple guys going to be taking them over. Lude goes straight into the box team, by far our best line-out jumper, says Albert. Yeah, although it of course can't be underestimated what we saw from someone like Ruan Nokia last year. He really stepped up throughout the Rugby Championship, helping the box. Argir Sneyman, of course, he's probably more still the guy that they will bring off the bench. Sharks updated about 3 weeks ago that Eben showed reoccurring concussion side effects and was being carefully monitored by concussion expert doctors. He deserves a rest, says Lilia B. And with Eben, I think Rassi will always go with the recommendations of the doctors. He has too. The doc said no and Eben got hurt, the insurance companies would skin him, and South African Rugby Union. That is true. Yeah, you can't really take that risk, can you? When player welfare's on the line, they were short of line, but they're over now. The Bulls have got their 5th. I think it's David Creel, who's done a run like a forward, just to pick and go off the back of the breakdown. Oh no, it's Mako van Staden who pops up. He's had a tough day at the office. He had an ice pack on his cheek earlier on, getting his neck realigned just before by the looks of it. But he's still out there, still trying hard for this Bulls side, and has now reaped some reward to score the try. That should almost be enough, you would think, but hard to tell. Irvine likely wants London Irish direct entry to the top of the Gallagher Premiership, using URC as bargaining chip to avoid climbing the promotion ladder, says Studs Ray. Evans Health is more important than rugby? Absolutely. Like, at the end of the day, these guys are human. Yes, some people like to see them go out there and smash into each other and take the big knocks and give them, but, you know, there's still a brain in those heads, and that brain has to be protected, because CTE is not a fun thing to have to deal with. Villy LaRue finally getting the ball, says Ruth. And true Tim, keep Evan for the Rugby Championship would be Rassie's call, says Jimbo. They're just saying the last time these two sides met, it was relatively high scoring as well. 5 tries for the Bulls just currently, nicely taken by Kobus, Visa, Honeycomb, and Kutsia will be back soon. Says Outlaw. And yeah, of course, having those extra stocks in the squad will be massively beneficial for the Bulls, definitely as we head towards those games of the Champions Cup that are coming up. The Challenge Cup it would be, for the Bulls. Now Lombard in the middle of the field, trying to get round Stedman Hans, who's made a great last-ditch effort. Making that tackle, I fully agree. Evan needs a good long rest. I'm just saying the media might be just getting the official press releases, says Albert, and Stormers are weak, says Christo. They're going to be in action next week. We'll be covering that one on the channel as well. Stedman Hans, now 40 metres out. Nalabakanye not quite able to catch up with the winger. The centre, I should say. In this case, Stormers will beat all the teams. There we go. We've finally worked out who Stranger's team is. He's a Stormers boy through and through. Kept it well hidden, though. We will give him credit for that. Bros Papier going back across to the right-hand side. Nazam Carr, good clean out, or good turnover for the Lions. I don't think the Lions want to play today, says Spider-Meek, although this one's not going to be too bad. A 50-22 attempted. That is the big difference, though. Like, when the Bulls did a kick in behind, it would be a 50-22. When the Lions do it, the ball almost looked like it was trying to avoid the touchline. A little bit of a counter ruck coming from the Lions, but will still be on the side of the Bulls. And Devin Williams would have kicked that one into touch. Stormers need to win a game first, says Albert. Now 21 minutes left here. Plenty of time, and quite a few subs that can be made too, Bulls bro, says Christo. And no more tries for the Bulls, says Stranger. I think every time you've said that, they've scored, Stranger. So I feel like, if anything, you're jinxing them in the wrong way, and you're actually helping them score more tries. Looks like a bit of cramp here for David Creel. Looks like also some water for Kobus Visa. We've got to remember, this is played in quite hot conditions. In fact, they might even have a drinks break now, while these two sides have a few injury troubles. I'm a Stormers fan, but we have been weak this season, says Bystander. Visa sucking in the big ones. He has been very active throughout this match. 3 more tries for the Bulls, says Emma Holdings. Okay, I'm liking the prediction. Could be a decent chance for them. Crayfish, a ginger or chili ginger pasta, says Roof. And also, is it possible to the Bulls, or the Bulls lost to the Sharks because the previous game took out too much of them energy-wise? Maybe, to a certain extent, but at the same time, I think it was just more so they just got it very wrong in terms of the handling was poor, and you could say that was down to fatigue, but yeah, it just seemed tactically they weren't all there. No more tries for the Bulls. Emma Holdings, Bulls suck, says Stranger. I feel like now's probably a good time just to have a quick look at the table, ladies and gents. As it currently sits, the Bulls are the top of the South African side, sitting there in 3rd place. A win here would put them a lot closer to the top 2. Of course, everyone is chasing Leinster. 11 wins from 11. And we'll more than likely have that home quarter-final, probably semi as well, and then it depends on how they go But if they can keep on advancing, Marco van Staden trying to get the turnover. Here comes Morne Vandenberg trying to pierce his way through. It's going to be knocked backwards. Do see that Manuel Ras has made his way on. Marco van Staden again trying to get that turnover and gives away the penalty. Double blow of the whistle. This might actually be a yellow card, is it? Or just a warning? Hamish got offended, lol. See, Stranger, I just thought I'd show you, seeing as you seem to think that they weren't going well. Okay, referee's pretty much said, I'm not going to change my mind just because you got players shouting at me. And Leinster is way out in front. The rest only fighting over spoils. Says Albert, yeah, although, of course, points are very important, but playoff games, with the exception of the fact that you get that home final, you still need to win those games. And those are going to be the tough ones. I'm going to go for a dive this Arvo to get some crayfish and play hide and seek with the Great Whites. Says Matthew, well, hopefully you win hide and seek, or else not ideal. 5 metres out from the line now. Morne Vandenberg going off now for PJ Botha. Ball is available again. Looking to use their back line. Deliberate knockdown from Willy Leroux. This might be a yellow card here. Okay, knock on in the tackle. So they will play for the original penalty advantage for offside. The Bulls will show the Stormers how it must be done. And thank you, Hamish. You're helping the Bulls as... Oh, thank you, Stranger, sorry. You're helping the Bulls as Hamish said. And it means nothing if Leinster don't go all the way. Exactly right. Like, you can sit top of the table all you want, but it matters when you get to those later games. Go Glasgow. Dear Stranger. To be fair, Glasgow, they've gone up in a lot of people's books recently in terms of what they've been able to do. Of course, the defending champs, Nalabakanye, thrown at the line. That ball has been knocked backwards, says the ref. And that one's gone forward now. Playoffs is a different story. You lose, you're out. And Sharks going to upset the entire apple cart with Evan lifting the trophy, says Albert. Just too many mistakes coming at the moment from the Lions. That time it was Atini Esterhazen. Put that ball down. Looks like a couple changes are just now being made. Jan Hendrik Wessels is on for the Bulls. And that is the big man Kwama, who has made his way on. Bros Papia also off. That will be for Zach Berger. We will now get the late chance. 19 minutes left. And go Glasgow, says a stranger. I will mention anyone who is new to the channel. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Glasgow is my team. Since when? I thought your team was the Stormers. Or at least you were going for them before. Maybe they're your South African team, are they? And then Glasgow is your team in general. Possibly. Might be the system that you've got. Currently the drums are being banged at Loftus. And Glasgow is on top of Bulls, says Stranger. And yeah, I hope I win hide and seek as well. I will end up on the 6 o'clock news if I lose, says Matthew. Who's doing the goal kicking for the Bulls? It is mainly David Creel. It's going to be another penalty now for the Bulls. Collapsing in the front rows. Very strong work from Wilco Lowe. Now David Creel kicking this one into touch, just trying to get a few extra metres for his side. Okay, they've actually said there that both props did infringe and they should have probably had a reset rather than just going for the straightaway penalty. Nicely claimed by the Bulls. There's a knock. Oh, it's called as backwards. That looked pretty clear as a knock on. Looking at the remaining fixtures, the Sharks could have the best path to the semis of all the South African teams, says Albert. Now kicked him behind from the Lions and it does drift into touch. Seems like at the moment we're just in that feeling out process of the second half before both sides make their sprint towards the finish line. Leinster seem to be taking URC more serious this year. They won't be going into the playoffs half-cooked, says Fleshin, although it depends because, of course, round the Champions Cup, they just end up getting overworked more and more. I was just joking, guys. Go the Bulls all the way, says Stranger. I'm still confused at who your team actually is. I feel like I want to guess that you are actually a Bulls supporter, but like you were trying to go against them, maybe because you were worried they weren't going to do well, but they're doing all right. Yeah, 31 points to 14. Have a great day, everyone. Pub beckoning. Cheers, Hamish. Cheers, Jimbo. So thank you very much, mate. We'll see you possibly later on. But 18 minutes now remaining here. You better go with the Bulls, says M Holdings. And must drink a cold beer, says Julian Moses there too. And Stranger is a Puma supporter, says Albert. Now nicely claimed again at line-out time by JF Van Heeren. Johan Rubela hanging on to this one at the back. He has actually been a little bit quiet throughout this match, I would say. Now Creel under the high ball, that being Richard. Going off to the side, and he's found a little bit of space to be able to work with the Bulls. Trying to jump onto the ball was Marco van Staden, and almost ended up giving away another penalty. Versace goes across Kjuan Horn. Now going off to the left, Manuel Russ trying to get around Visa, but hasn't been able to do it. Now Landsberg. Quite a few meters made, the big man today. Did you dare to say better go with the Bulls, says Stranger. Another big shot. Morne Vandenberg goes off to Jaco Versace. De Vet. To the right. Venter gets through one. Once again, Marco van Staden. He's just a nuisance in the breakdown, but it works. Sometimes he wins the penalty for himself, and other times he gives it away. But either way, you know he's going to be in there. Villy LaRue plays the 9. This is a double blow of the whistle again here. Okay, Villy LaRue. Okay, clean that up is the call for Villy LaRue. I thought for a second the referee was going to actually give him a yellow, seeing as he was trying to argue that it shouldn't have been a penalty. Azenko still hanging on. I haven't seen a huge amount of him, so I think maybe Manuel Russ might have gone on for Henko van Veek. I'm looking around. I don't think I see him. And Cape Town is very, very hot. And go the Bulls all the way, says Strange, and Lions must start playing. Cut out the errors, come on the Lions, says Stephen. Yeah, there's just been a few too many throughout the last little while. Hamish ref, okay, who is it? It is the South African female ref. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but yeah, I think it's been all right throughout this match. Possession 55% in favour of the Bulls, but now the possession for the Lions. Here comes Jaco Versace. Smashed back by Marco van Staden. Now Richard Creel up to 10 out. Landsberg just pick and go at the moment. That's a sneaky little play there from the Lions. I don't think it was on purpose, but they ended up dropping that ball off. That's going to more than likely be a yellow. I don't think it's going to be an advantage, so maybe not. Now 3 meters from the line. Back across. This is a penalty advantage, and that is over the try line, I believe. Although it looks like, no, it is awarded. Try for the Lions. Is this going to be a double blow of the whistle too? And up here, we obviously see Amor Arges Neyman, as he is with Leinster. Because of this, we see ourselves just how good he is. Arge is blindly or superbly skilled and bloody sound fella. He is a huge credit to South Africa, says Kurnovic. And being a Scarlets fan has its advantages. When we have zero expectations, it's good for my health, says Flesh in there too. All right, so the try has been scored by the Lions. They are now up to 3 throughout this match. And the kick has gone over too, 21 points to 31 as it currently sits. Now, I will mention we're only 65 minutes through, not the amount that they have got there. And Lions must wake up, says William Moses. Oh, this clearly right form. This is going to be maybe a yellow card for David Creel. Or at least it sounds that way anyway. Right, time is still off. They're actually going to go upstairs to check this one. Oh. So it was a try, but there was a neck roll by Red here that they want to check. And if that is the case, that's going to cancel out this try. And it is a neck roll. Didn't get a massive amount of it. It slipped off, but it is still not a clean out from Morgan Nolde. So it's going to be a penalty only, but it cancels the try for the Lions. So that is not what they would have been after, that is for sure. Right, they're going back on field. That one is going to be cancelled out here. Clearly a neck roll. And just the penalty going the way of the Bulls yet again. Right, cancelled the try. And that was the chance for the Lions, but just a little bit of ill discipline ends up costing them. The worst thing is they had converted it already. They were back into the game. Now they are not. I think Horn just asking the question of why that one's going to be cancelled, and some luck for the Bulls. Says Outlaw. Okay, so foul play trumps it, because pretty much the counter from Horn was that they gave away a lot of penalty advantages. So are they going to be penalised for theirs? But foul play overrules that. So it is going to be the penalty going the way of Devin Williams and his Bulls side. Now Williams will be able to kick this one towards the sideline. No try for the Lions, says Matthew there. That one has gone out. You should do a poll to see how many South Africans would like to go back to Super Rugby, says Fleshin. It would be an interesting one, although it probably would start arguments. So we might be better off just asking the question rather than doing it as a poll. Morne Vandenberg. Just getting a good pass away for that try, but of course cancelled out due to foul play, but that is stolen by the Lions. Is that the wake-up call that they need? It looks like it's in the hands of Vandenberg. Own player underneath the breakdown. And what I missed, go the Lions hard to go, or I had to go pick up a new cat, says Jean, so hopefully the cat is doing well. Now inside ball. Nice run forward from Russ, almost goes straight through, but it is Zach Berger who's managed to make the tackle on him. Vandenberg looking both ways, looks like he's going to go for a chip in behind. It's none other than the big number 18, Van Vuren. Oh, it's taken back by the Bulls, and it's going to be now a 5-metre scrum. I've gotten used to the URC now, and financially it makes no sense going back to Super, and definitely Super Rugby, even with the travel issues. Says Sean, what is the score? Says Mohadeen, at the moment it is sitting 31-14. Maybe we do need to do a poll, because that was 1-1, wasn't it? So that doesn't tell us exactly what you want to know, Fleshin. We're late in the stream. Surely most people have done their prediction. One moment, we'll get that one up. And we'll go start a poll. And I have to end my current poll, which currently has 68% opting for the Bulls to win this game. Got ourselves another scrum. One moment, we are typing flat out. Please tell me I almost got that right. Oh, nice run forward. And just like that, it is going to be Richard Creel. Does score the try. What happens in 15 minutes when you have two games going on? The stoppages in this one might not much help. So it pretty much means that the other stream I'll probably have to start a little bit later. But luckily I allowed 10 minutes before the kickoff of that other contest, just in case this game did run long, which it does look like it's going to. But just a nice backline movement there for the Lions, getting it out wide. And Morne Vandenberg, quick hands across the whole backline. You have a new baby, number 5 now. C'est Jean. There we go. We have started that poll in terms of whether or not you guys would want the South African sides to return to Super Rugby. It was a question asked in the chat. Now, chance again here to line up this kick from the sideline. Lombard gets it well, but misses away. So it is now going to make the score 31 points to 19. It's of an obvious issue. But can't the Cheetahs go set up camp that side of the duration of the tournament? Just a suggestion. Yeah, that seems like it's something that has been suggested. But I guess it's a long time to be away. We've got to remember Super Rugby goes for about 3-4 months. Not even all the South African teams to the Super Rugby. Pumas was Cheetahs. Yeah, because I guess that's another good point to make is the fact that, could you see the Cheetahs added into Super Rugby rather than these URC sites? But then I guess for the Cheetahs, that would give up their spot in the Champions and Challenge Cup, which I don't know whether they'd want to. So it's all technicalities, isn't it? Going to be kicked downfield from Morne Vandenberg. Nicely taken by Edwald Vandenberg. Tries to keep the ball alive. It came off the head of Jaco Fasaki. I agree. URC is South Africa top teams, but the Cheetahs, Pumas, Requas should play either in the MLR or preferably in Super. Says 123 MS. In the case of the Cheetahs, anything is better than nothing. They are currently based in Amsterdam permanently, so it can work, says Albert. Now going back across to the left-hand side, Kanan Moody tackled, but gets his offload away to Devin Williams. Getting told to get out of there for the Lions. Replacement 21, Renzo Duplessis. Would be nice if they could be in both, says Lilia. It would be, but already we're seeing the amount of injuries that are coming for these South African sides, so to have them in both would not work in terms of, the amount of travel, the injuries and everything, because there are some overlaps, like at the moment, if they're in the URC and Super Rugby, which competition do they play more in? Do they send a B side over to Super Rugby? Lions on 19 points, but you got 21 on your screen, Hamish. Says Stranger. Are you sure? Unless it was maybe wrong before, but currently it is on the right score. Nice counter ruck and counter attack coming now. Duplessis puts in the fend. He will be 22 metres out from the line. Stedman Hans just joining the ruck from the wrong side. Oh, that was almost a bit of obstruction. They might have to check this one, but Marius Lowe could be in for his try. Super Rugby is the best, says Stranger. I don't mean to be mean, but Curry Cup sides, not Super Rugby quality, says Studs Ray. And the Cheetahs were done bad by South Africa Rugby Union. And the rugby tradition between South Africa and New Zealand must be maintained, says Sean Gunter. Right, they are checking two things here. Potential obstruction is the second that they are looking at. We have got the IC number 21, only 19. Oh, I see no 21, only 19, says Spider Mick. I agree, but see how far Argentina have from being accepted in the Rugby Championship, says Bystander. Right, so that is an all right pass. That's gone backwards for Renzo Duplessis. Okay, so we're going to see Stedman Hans here. He was pushed. Okay. So I think this is going to be another no try. I don't think anyone up here would be too upset if they went back. It's also not great for us travelling down there in summer, says Fleshen. Right, back to clear knock on by the Lions as well here. So goes from bad to worse. That's now 2 disallowed tries that they have had, 1 for foul play and 1 for the drop ball. But that has been a summary of their contest. They're going to have to take that one back. It remains as 31 points to 19. Come on, the Lions, says Stian there. Would the Super Rugby teams benefit having the South African teams back? I think competitiveness-wise, yes, and it kind of has that old-school feel to Super Rugby. But, it's tough with the time zones and everything. At the moment, for Super Rugby-wise, it works well. But I think that a lot of people would be willing to accept that the time zones aren't great if it meant having those sides back. If you consider how many South African players are currently playing overseas because of the poor rand, shows why Curry Cup quality went down, says Albert. And Argentina are becoming better each year. They play South Africa, New Zealand, and the Aussie, says Matthew. Where are you watching the game on? I am watching on TVNZ Plus here in New Zealand. So do you think Italy will win France in the Six Nations be a cool upset. It would certainly be a big one. They've been close before. I think they drew with them last year, didn't they? The Italians, if I remember rightly. So anything's possible. At home this time rather than away. Our Lions have 2 tries denied, ref says Spider-Mick. No, but they are legitimate tries to decline. Like, there are reasons behind it type thing. In terms of that poll, we had 38 votes and, in fact, it's gone up a little bit more, 43 votes, and 79% have said yes to the Super Rugby side of things. Our Lions have 2 tries denied. And Aussie's the best, says Stranger. That's going to be an advantage now in favour of the Bulls. Still 10 minutes remaining in this fixture, so it is going to run a little bit longer than first anticipated. Hamish, you wrote Lions on 14. That is wrong, says Stranger. I think that you might be missing that it's an online scoreboard that updates itself. Now, Moody, that's going to be forward. I'm going to have to very quickly change that next live stream scheduled start time. This game is going to be running extremely long, which means no snack time. We're straight back into it. Still 9 minutes left. It's been a scrappy type of game. They've tried to keep it flowing, but honestly, it has not gone well. But now it's going to be another scrum, I believe. It is not 31-14. Says Stranger. Correct, which is why the scoreboard does not say 31-14. And score is 31-19. Once again, correct. Right, it's actually going to be kicked into touch by Devon Williams. Playing a little bit of zombie at the ground. So on that, South Africa have tried to claim as their own. And tell them to postpone the next game until you are ready, says Sean. I don't think they'd do it. It would be a nice gesture from them, of course, but yeah, I think we're going to be just jumping straight back into that next contest. And yeah, we'll hopefully have time to have a snack after it. I wouldn't mind if you eat on live stream. You're already drinking, says Albert. I've tried eating on a live stream before. It just doesn't work. I talk too often and there's too much silence when I don't talk. So yeah, I'll just wait a bit longer. South African players should go home from Europe. They are better off down south. We in the north are clearly substandard. But Southern Hemisphere standards, or by Southern Hemisphere standards, why be somewhere you don't want to be? Says Kurnovic. A good clearing kick from Kuan Horn. Still one more try needed for the Lions to receive an extra bonus point. In fact, if they were able to get themselves a try now, it would give them 2 bonus points if that was the way that it does finish up. Now Johan Rubala again throws it in, taken by Carr Berger. Going off to the left-hand side. Now Mako van Staden crashing into the opposition. He had a busy game out there. Probably in the man of the match contenders, in my opinion. South Africa Rugby getting smashed because of the demands of the Northern Hemisphere club system. Just cannot keep a squad big enough for an 8-month, 24-game season. Says Studs Ray. Now back across. Now Keegan Johannes. Does kick it up high. Sebastian de Klerk. Tries to make the hit on Edwell van der Merwe, but the mark was called. And South Africa Rugby Union doesn't have the money to support more than 4 teams, but it will, if Super will accept 3 teams, the current rugby calendar allows other South African teams to join, or alternative join Rugby Championship, England Level 2. Says 1-2-3 MS, and just Wales struggling, says Sean. If I were a Bok or prospect, I want to test myself against the New Zealanders and Australians, says Kurnovic. Bulls still have the ball. Oh, that's going to be a clean, easy turnover penalty from the Lions. Referee says no hands, he said, but look, I've got the ball, and she went, no, you don't, penalty against you. I voted for them to go back. I think that's better all around, judging by any live stream chat, says Fleshen. And in people's world, or in today's world, people complain just about anything. Says Spider-Mick. People will even complain about you saying that people complain. Spider-Mick. Johannes again will put this ball almost into touch, but well kept in by the Lions. And now kicking it down the middle was Nico Stain. Now up the middle. Chance for Devon Williams. Driven back, 2-man tackle by the Lions. And the clean steal for the Lions, or at least it could be. Looks like it's stuck. Now they all have to release. And Marco van Staden tries to get in there, in off his feet. Could have been an easy penalty against him, but he's got away with a couple in the breakdowns today. Van Staden, Kuan Horn running down the wing, can't quite link up with Edward van der Merwe. Now Johan Rubbelaar trying to get that clean turnover, and he has got the penalty. 5 minutes left in this contest. I speak like it is, says Spider-Mick. Kuan Horn staying down for a little bit longer here. Have taken some big shots all throughout this contest. Looks like he's got a bit of a limp here too. I speak like it is, says Spider-Mick. Now, it's going to be kicked in a touch. Good chat today, people. Well done, says Sean Gunter. And, of course, the chatting is not over. We are going to have 2 games of the Six Nations just around the corner. Then some sevens taking place, which will be the 3rd game for all the sides. And then after that, we are straight back into the quarterfinals of the sevens. Should be very entertaining as well. The Bulls, I want to say they'll be happy enough. Yes, it's been far from flawless in this match, but they've still done enough to be able to get themselves a bonus point win here, unless, of course, the Lions can somehow steal this in the last 4 minutes, but another advantage going against the Lions here for side entry at the rolling maul. Zach Berger going back across to the left. Creel across now into the hands of Keegan Johannes. There was obstruction. They'll go back for another advantage. 15 minutes until Wales versus Ireland, says bystander. Yeah, it's getting closer and closer by the minute. This game, like I mentioned, has run a lot later than it was supposed to. It's been a 2-hour and 2-minute game so far, and we still have another 3.5 minutes remaining. Thanks, Amish. I'm going to watch Club Rugby now. Says Outlaw. And looks like Keegan Johannes have made the decision that they do want to take on the shot at the post rather than going for the 7 points. And honestly, it's a good decision at the moment. There's no rush for them. And it will use up an extra 30 or so seconds on the clock. And once again, just coming in through the side for the Lions. It's happening a little bit too often throughout this match from such a strong side normally when it comes to the breakdown. First kick for Keegan Johannes. Should have a relatively easy time with it, you would think, but you just never know nowadays. He's missed away to the right. That is going to keep the score sitting as it is. I've said just for the Bulls at the moment, they've struggled to find some consistency off the kicking tee. Now, Lions once again have got this ball. Now looking to use their backline. Landsberg goes to Edward van der Merwe. Oh, nice bit of work. Visachi hangs on to it, offloads it up to Morne van den Berg, who gets it away to Norde. Offload to Edward van der Merwe. They still want one more, and like I said, if they can get themselves 2 tries here, it will do enough, 1 try here. It would put them within the bonus point, and they would get 2 from this game in 2012. The RAM was 8.5 against the dollar, and today it's 18.5. That's what pushes South Africa's decisions. Now back across to the left. Limited time remaining now. Morne van den Berg going off to Edward van der Merwe. Good fend. Almost a drop ball, but still hanging on to it. Kwama, and now knocked on by Stedman Gans. Referee says there was no knock on though. So it is going to be play on again here for the Bulls. Now off to the left-hand side, Kane Moody. Thought about offloading Rasta as well. Lions with the clean steal. Passes off to Russ. He's got plenty of pace when he is in space, but they haven't really allowed him to use it yet so far. Back across to the left-hand side again here. Only 1 minute remaining in this game, looking for the 50-22. I think they just mentioned it was taken back, and somehow that ball once again dodges the sideline. Keegan Johannes does get that ball into touch. Very good kick. Why they give for the best player a trophy after the series is completed, but no trophy for the team that scored the most tries during the whole series? Says Andrew. It's a good question. I guess player is a little bit different to like in terms of try tally, because some sides, someone could have the most tries of the season in terms of the team, but they might finish 8th. They might get knocked out in the quarters type thing. I'd rather see South Africa come back to Super and really followed Super Rugby since the South African teams left. Has not having the South African teams changed the intensity and vibe of the competition? In some regards, like some people still are massive fans of the Super Rugby comp, and like in terms of viewership, I think last year was a record number of views for Super Rugby in terms of broadcasters, but that's going to be stolen by Johan Robelaar. And Morne van den Berg has been penalised again here. Haven't had a lot of the rub of the green in this game, the Lions, I will say, but the Bulls have still fought well. They scored 3 early tries. Jake White, he will be happy with the winning bonus point here. They kicked the ball out, and that is going to make the end score 31 points to 19. But nonetheless, we do have to quickly jump over to that next live stream, ladies and gents. I might have enough time for maybe one piece of chicken or something if I'm lucky, but we will be setting up that next stream and then jumping straight over for the Six Nations. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one.